Chapter 1829, Heaven Lord Alliance. Chapter 1829, Heaven Lord Alliance. Zhang Bingyu didn't mind Qin Yinmei's attitude and said plainly, he was interested in me, but I know him better than you. You don't know him at all. Martial Sister Bingyu, are you saying I'm superficial? I never liked that guy, but now I'm interested. I want to see if that Yimo likes the superficial me. Qin Yinmei said, but she saw Zhang Bingyu's face not change at all. When she found Yimo to act as her Dao partner, that guy agreed quickly. She didn't believe that if things happened again that guy would reject. Qin Yinmei didn't want to stay here anymore. She got up angrily, but at the door, she couldn't resist asking Martial Sister Bingyu, did you know that Yimo has a wife? I know. He has more than one. He told me. Jin Bingyu's reply almost made Qin Yinmei trip. There were countless immortal cities in the immortal realm, but they all had different names except King naming immortal city. There was 3 of them, one each in low, middle, and grand heaven domain. The one in low heaven domain was in Imoi heaven. The city was very popular now, as it was the once a millennium king naming time. Although there weren't many immortals reaching immortal king in this millennium, there were about 30 people including the ones who didn't come before. The city was popular as many people came to watch this event and sense the Tao waves of the Immortal King Tablet. The biggest place in the city was the Immortal King Tablet Square. In the middle, there was a huge tablet that one's spirit sense couldn't see the top. It wrote the Immortal King title and name of the Immortal Kings. Next to this tablet was a huge tower that also soared into the clouds. It was shrouded in cloud and spirit, sense couldn't see its full look as well. There were 20 or so immortals sitting before the tower and tablet. Their eyes were closed as though feeling something. The square was huge, but now, not an immortal below status immortal dared to come. This is Immortal King Square? Yimo asked. Lu Feng nodded seriously. Yes, this is it. The tall tower is title status tower. Many immortal kings are sitting before the tower feeling its chi and Tao wave. When the tower opens, those who could feel the Tao waves better would be able to climb up faster. Why are there levels on the Immortal King tablet? Yimo asked. Lu Feng nodded. Usually, your Immortal King title depends on how many tower levels you can climb. There are 81 levels on the tablet. If you can reach the top of the tower, then once you get named you can walk to the top and mark your name. Yimo scanned the 20 or so people sitting on the square. They were all indeed Immortal King primary stage. It seemed he overestimated how many people could reach Immortal King in the low heaven domain. It had been 1,000 years and only 20 or so. Perhaps many of them didn't go to the king naming in the millennium they reached Immortal King. There's actually quite some Immortal King here. Many people would leave low heaven domain after reaching Immortal King to middle or grand heaven domain. Otherwise, it's impossible to break through to Immortal Monarch. Lu Feng said, let's go in too. Lu Feng found a good spot and took out a cushion and sat down. There was very little people, so it was easy to find a good spot. Yimo sat next to Lu Feng and started to feel the tower's Tao waves. Soon, Yimo felt it. This Tao wave was a fusion of his power, God art, immortal essence, and spirit sense. At the same time, it had a sliver of understanding towards Immortal King Tao status. It also included the power and weakness of every level. Once you learn level 1, then you can learn level 2. Once you learn all 81 levels, a few decades would have probably passed. These things were good for ordinary immortal kings, but Yimo wasn't really interested. He might as well sit under bitter bamboo for a year. Plus, he wouldn't want to waste a year here. He would rather find a place for solitary cultivation. Thinking about this, Yimo got up. Seeing this, Lu Feng felt strange. Yimo quickly said, I have some business. You can stay here. I'll come back when the tower opens. Lu Feng nodded and stayed there. At this moment in extreme wind heaven, Yuanxing Immortal City in an ordinary immortal tower, more than 10 immortals gathered around a huge hall. The immortal tower looked like an ordinary immortal cultivation home, but there was no way ordinary people could get in. There was no road towards here, and there were restriction formations everywhere. This immortal tower was the number 1 immortal tower of the low heaven domains. Heaven Lord Tower? Heaven Lord Alliance was here. The atmosphere in the hall was heavy. No one spoke for a long time. There were 16 people sitting inside. They were all immortal kings. That Luo guy is indeed too cocky. One chubby immortal king grunted. MOU immortal sect rose up in Gonghua heaven, but not only did they not go through Gonghua heaven lord when they set up sect, but they also forcefully wiped out the Yuhong heaven lord estate. Bai Qi immortal king is right. This Luo guys is too cocky. One Dao-robed immortal king said, and then looked at a blue-faced immortal king. This blue-faced immortal king grunted uncomfortably. Ji Dao immortal king, what are you looking at me for? Although I'm Gonghua heaven lord, can I do anything about MOU immortal sect? Ji Dao immortal king sneered. This person opened a sect in Gonghua heaven, but he didn't even go greet you. At least you can reproach him? Blue-faced immortal king said in contempt. Freedom King has been cocky in Gonghua heaven for more than some time now. When I asked everyone to help annihilate him, what did you guys say? No one helped. Freedom King is that powerful, and he was easily annihilated by sect leader Luo. Do you guys think I've lived for too long asking me to go find sect leader Luo? I haven't been to his sect events a few times. It already shows my standings. Sii Chung immortal king is very close to sect leader Luo. Why do you go talk to him? Okay, everyone stop fighting, there's no point in this. MOU immortal sect leader Luo isn't someone we can stop. Even I'm probably no match for him. He couldn't stand kill Freedom King, suppressed by Qian immortal king immediately, and make Sii Chung immortal king have no temper. This means he's at least immortal king peak stage, or halfway immortal monarch. No one here is a match for him. A green-robed old man sitting at the top said. Bai Qi immortal king saluted with his fists. I think if Vice Alliance leader Lu leads the charge, and we all attack him, it's still possible. The green-robed man waved his hand. I've seen a recording of him fight. Even if we all attack, we might be able to take him, but we're going to lose more than half the people here. Everyone has heard of Wu Shuang, Immortal Emperor, and Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor's conflict, right? Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, beat Wu Shuang, Immortal Emperor, but the Grand Heaven Domain lost 9 Immortal Emperors, and Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, was heavily injured himself. We have very little Immortal Kings in the Heaven Lord Alliance, and Sii Chung Immortal King seem to be wanting to join MOU. If we fight with force, there's no good for us. So are we going to let it go? One Immortal King interrupted. The green-robed old man sneered, let it go? If he just set up a sect without notifying, then we can let it go. But he destroyed Yuhong Heaven Lord estate. If we just let it go, is there a need for this alliance to exist? He will soon understand that Heaven Lord estate isn't to be touched easily. Chapter 1830. Lu Zhengquan returning. Chapter 1830. Lu Zhengquan returning. The green-robed old man scanned the other immortal king and continued. 2 years later, Chang Tian immortal monarch will finish solitary cultivation. No matter how strong of an immortal monarch that Luo Gai is, he can't beat an immortal monarch, right? The green-robed old man knew that when many people here mentioned Yimo, they used sect leader Luo, meaning that some of them was scared of Luo. They didn't want to start trouble with him, especially Gonghua Heaven Lord Meng Changxue. With MOU's current dominance, if he really brought the Heaven Lord Alliance to fight Luo, they wouldn't even need to fight and they would break up internally. Okay, we'll see how this Luo will be cocky after Chang Tian Immortal Monarch finished solitary cultivation. Bai Qi Immortal King agreed. The green-robed old man waved his hand. I just got news that Luo and his Lufeng Elder went to King naming Immortal City. 2 years later, Chang Tian Immortal Monarch would be able to finish solitary cultivation right when the tower is about to close. Then we'll go together and seal the city. We must not let this person go, otherwise, there would be endless troubles. Alliance leader Lu is right. Before we kill this Luo, we best not touch his MOU immortal sect, nor the sect members. One short immortal king said. That's right, this guy is a maniac. Lu Zhengquan just captured a few low-level cultivators. He doesn't need to wipe out the entire Heaven Lord estate. If we touch his immortal sect, there would probably not be a day of peace in the low heaven domain. So before we kill this man, we can't touch the sect. Once this person is killed, we can move the Heaven Lord Alliance to MOU Immortal Mountain. That's a good place indeed. The green-robed old man nodded. Most people from the Heaven Lord Alliance had sects or cultivation home. If they pissed this madman from MOU Immortal Sect and this maniac wasn't killed, who knows what would happen? At the same time, in the West Barren Sands of Yuanluk Heaven, this place had arid immortal spirit Qi, and little people came. Yimo came here to break through to Great Unity Immortal. In the middle of the sands was a white-faced, short-bearded man. He wasn't beautiful, but he looked righteous. He grabbed a shard with immortal essence, giant hand from the sands, and after a while he said bleakly, "It seems he purposely threw the teleportation formation card here and drew me here." The man had nothing around him, but suddenly, a hollow essence spirit figure came. He looked at this stone tablet for a while and said, "He did place it here indeed, but he didn't break the card. It was detonated by a low-level self-detonation formation. As for why he did so, it's very hard to guess. From the explosion, it seems this person's power is around Great Unity Immortal to Great Extreme Immortal." Kaimi Qian Bei, you're saying this guy reached Great Unity Immortal in just a few decades? The middle-aged man asked in shock. The essence spirit said this isn't impossible. If his talent is absurd and his fortune amazing, then it's possible. Other than that, there is something extremely powerful in the immortal realm. It can definitely let him reach this level quickly. It's far from as powerful as the life tree, but it's definitely the best magic artifact in the immortal realm. What is it? The middle-aged man asked shakily. The essence spirit seemed to have sunk into thought and said after a long while, "There was once an absurdly powerful person, but for some reason we all gained up on him, and both sides were heavily injured. This person is not only extremely powerful, but he has many treasures that others don't even dare to imagine. Our treasures combined couldn't compare with his. This thing is one of his treasures too. It's the time formation disk. If I'm not wrong, this person is still not completely dead." Time formation disk? The middle-aged man repeated in shock. The essence spirit nodded. "That's right, the time formation disk. If you use immortal crystals, it can slow down time to a 1:100 ratio. That means if you stay inside for 100 years, the outside world has only experienced 1 year. There's such an absurd item in this world. It can indeed compare with the chaos tree." The middle-aged man's face was green with excitement. The essence spirit denied. "The time formation disk is forged by someone. One can only say its use is sometimes on par with the life tree. But in reality, the time formation disk is far from as valuable as the chaos tree, not even worth 1/millionth of the chaos tree. The tree was born of chaos. How could it be comparable with something that is artificial?" The middle-aged man's face suddenly changed and clenched his fist. Who dares to destroy my Heaven Lord estate?" Clearly this white-faced man was Lu Zhengquan. Feng Gang Immortal City's Heaven Lord estate is destroyed? The essence spirit asked in confusion. Lu Zhengquan clenched his teeth. "Yes, the estate has my spirit sense mark. If it's destroyed, I would know immediately." Suddenly, a flaming messenger flying sword landed in Lu Zhengquan's hands. Lu Zhengquan opened it and said in confusion, "Master Gigi said the person I'm looking for might have gone to low heaven domain. How is this possible? Didn't he say the person was in the void before?" The essence spirit said seriously, "It's very possible. If that person has a very good flying immortal artifact, he can fly to the low heaven domain from the void. Plus your Heaven Lord estate is destroyed. That person probably did it. If he knows the value of the chaos tree, he would see you as a threat to remove. A Great Unity Immortal dares to destroy my Heaven Lord estate?" Lu Zhengquan didn't dare to believe it. The hollow essence spirit sneered. "Don't forget, he might have time formation disk. If he really got that person's heritage, then he wouldn't just have the time formation disk. There would be things even better than that." The essence spirit paused and continued. "It's been a few decades since he buried the stone card here. With the time formation disk and that person's heritage, he might have reached Immortal King. Because only you know about the chaos tree, the first thing he would do after reaching Immortal King is to come kill you." Lu Zhengquan looked at this essence spirit in shock, and after a long while he asked, "Kaimi Qian Bei, who is that person?" The essence spirit fell into a long silence. "You've never left the low heaven domain. If you went to the grand heaven domain, then you will hear his legend. He's called Truth Divine Emperor. Of course I heard of Truth Divine Emperor. Time formation disk is his? What else does he have?" Lu Zhengquan asked desperately. "There's no point in asking this now. If the person who destroyed your Heaven Lord estate is really the person you're looking for, the first thing you must do now is capture him and all his things would be yours. If you're too slow, then you would never be a match for him. For you, 1 year of cultivation equals to 100 years of his cultivation. The essence spirit said slowly. Lu Jingchuan replied desperately, but Kaimi Qianbei, even if I go back to Yuheng Heaven now, I would need a few years. As for that realm domain teleportation formation, I don't have the right to take it. The essence spirit smiled. You don't have a way, but I do. You just need 2 years, and you can go back, but you can't go to Immortal King Tablet Square to feel the Tao wave. You can only go in directly. Kaimi Qianbei, I don't really care about the Tao waves. I just want to get back what belongs to us. I can get my king name 1,000 years later. But some things can't wait for a single day. Lu Zhengchuan said desperately. I know a secret teleportation formation in the Middle Heaven domain that can go directly to Extreme Wind Heaven, but this teleportation formation needs to be repaired. With your pair and 2 years of preparing materials, it should be fine. Once you prepare the materials, I'll teach you how to repair it. The Essence Spirit said. Chapter 1831. I'm unreasonable, so what? Chapter 1831. I'm unreasonable, so what? A year or so had passed. Yimo had been consolidating his power. Even though the time formation disk increased his time by 100, Yimo felt he didn't benefit much. With a few billion immortal crystals and many immortal pills used, his power only progressed a little. This made Yimo feel very desperate. He knew that if any Immortal King primary stage used what he used, they would have reached Immortal King middle stage or even higher. Yimo thought of Yin Zhouqian. What would happen if he had such resources? Is Yin Zhouqian Immortal King tertiary stage or even halfway Immortal Monarch now? Like him, Yin Zhouqian lacked cultivation resources. Yimo believed no matter what, Yin Zhouqian probably didn't reach Immortal Monarch. As for that Lu Jingchuan, Yimo didn't consider him a threat anymore. Yimo left the Golden Page world. He estimated that it was about time to enter the title status tower. He took out Zissou and put it on his back ready to go in. Yimo knew that with his current power, even if he took Zissou from Golden Page world, no one would notice, but it was better to be careful. After this solitary cultivation, Yimo had decided to go Grand Heaven Domain or Chaos Star Realm to find opportunities for breakthrough. Otherwise, he would never be able to break through in the Low Heaven Domain. How is there so many people? Yimo came to the square and dazed. He found there was at least 50 people here, and they were all Immortal King primary stage. How were there so many Immortal Kings in the Low Heaven Domain? Elder Lu, what happened to you? Yimo immediately noticed Lu Feng standing in a corner with a pale face. Lu Feng saw Yimo come and forced a smile. I'm fine. Don't worry. Yimo didn't need to check to know she was heavily injured. He took out a pill to her. Eat the pill first and tell me what happened. No need for that. I taught this woman a lesson. Do you have something to say? A coarse voice sounded. Yimo immediately saw an Immortal King standing near the tower. His eyes were arrogant and face with contempt. Killing intent circled around him after he said this, as though if Yimo dared to say anything he would kill him. There were more than 10 people around him. They all seemed to be together. Yimo found in shock that they were all Immortal King. You're right, I do have something to say, Yimo said coldly. Seeing Yimo dared to talk back, this Immortal King was furious. He was about to go up and attack, but was stopped by a beautiful female immortal next to him. She was an Immortal King too. She saluted with her fists to Yimo. We came from Yaoqing Heaven. I'm Nan Luo Emperor Sect Chan Yi. We came to Low Heaven Domain to trial in the Chaos Star Realm. We just reached Immortal King in the Chaos Star Realm and it was time for king naming, so we didn't have time to return to Grand Heaven Domain. We can only use Imoi Heaven's Immortal King tablet. We had a small misunderstanding with your elder causing some damage. We're willing to give compensation. Chan Yi's words were polite, but her prideful attitude was distinct. She spoke of compensation, but she felt the thing was over already. She would only give a small compensation symbolically. The Immortal Kings from Low Heaven Domain were very silent. Just from how she was from Grand Heaven Domain Miaoqing Heaven, and she came from an Emperor sect, no one dared to say a thing. Chani felt her words were very polite. That cocky Immortal King sneered, Martial Sister Chan is too soft-hearted. Just a few Low Heaven Domain insects. But he didn't go attack, clearly giving face to his Martial Sister Chan. Hearing this, Yimo was shook, but then fire lit up in his heart. He wasn't shocked about Nan Ming Emperor sect. He even offended Truth Divine Emperor. This Emperor sect was nothing. What he heard was that before they went to Chaos Star Realm, they weren't Immortal King, but after coming out, they all reached Immortal King. Yimo ignored the cocky Immortal King and even Chan Wai. He asked Lu Feng, Elder Lu, what happened? Chani frowned when the cocky Immortal King called the Immortal Kings from Low Heaven Domain insects, but she didn't object. She already gave Yimo a way down, but Yimo instead acted like he didn't hear it and persisted in asking what happened. You want a reason? I'm not going to reason with you. What are you going to do? I hit her. Are you deaf? The cocky Immortal King said in contempt. Yimo's killing intent rose. His force swept out. The next moment, those few Grand Heaven Domain Immortal Kings felt their heart shiver. The cocky Immortal King took the full force of this. Before he could even react, he felt he was bound by Immortal King Domain and couldn't move at all. He was extremely shocked. How could an Immortal King primary stage have such complete and dense Immortal King Domain? He wanted to break free, but a huge Immortal Essence giant hand grabbed his neck and wrung him up. The nearby Immortal Kings were dazed, easily grabbing an Immortal King by the neck and subjugating him. What power was this? When was Immortal King primary stage this terrifying? Moments later, the other Grand Heaven Domain Immortal Kings reacted and released their magic artifacts, attacking Yimo. Yimo released Zisu, and his violent killing intent rose. In just a second, purple sword rays swept through the entire Immortal King tablet square. Rumble. Cracks sounded non-stop. The entire square was filled with terrifying sounds of magic artifact and immortal essence clashing. In just 10 seconds, all that remained on the square was a purple sword ray that was 10 kilometers long and 100 meters wide. The terrifying killing intent released from it cracked the white jade ground of the square. No one even dared to stare at the killing intent. The scene was silent. Not only the Immortal Kings on the square, but also the Immortals outside looked at Yimo and the huge purple sword in the air with extreme shock. Everyone looked at Yimo with fervent eyes. This was a true Immortal King. One move and no one from the same level could beat him, beating more than 10 Immortal Kings from the Grand Heaven Domain in one move. Too powerful. How could there be such a powerful Immortal King primary stage? Chani looked dazzlingly at Yimo. The cocky Immortal King called them insects, but it seemed they were the real insects. That subtle, insignificant sword on Yimo's back was this terrifying. Since you don't want to reason, I won't reason then. Yimo's killing intent rose, but the Immortal King in his hands immediately looked worried and begged for mercy. Immortal friend, please don't kill. Chan-E is willing to compensate. Chani saw that Yimo was going to kill and used a completely different tone to apologize. Li He is Yu Cheng Emperor Sect's core disciple. Please have mercy. Chani said. Yimo said plainly, so what if he's Yu Cheng Emperor Sect? I kill whoever I want. Immortal friend, have mercy. Li He is willing to compensate and apologize. This Immortal King said. Oh, so you're going to reason with me now? Yimo looked at Li He and asked. Yes, I'm willing to compensate and apologize. Li He didn't seem cocky at all now. I'm not going to reason with you. What are you going to do? Yimo said in contempt, giving this Immortal King's words right back at him. Chapter 1832. Title Status Tower opens. Chapter 1832. Title Status Tower opens. Li He sweated cold. He just realized that he encountered some guy who didn't give a shit. Chan-E breathed easy. She could tell that this powerful Immortal King had no intentions of killing Li He. Otherwise, would he wait till now? Yimo felt annoyed. He had the power to kill Li He, but he had an MOU Immortal Sect. He really needed to reason. Chani quickly went up and said, this is our fault. Li He's temper is too big, causing your elders small injuries. Yimo nodded. So that's it? This is small then. Who doesn't have moments of bad temper? Even I have moments of bad temper. It might cause your friend to lose essence spirit. After all, it's an accident. Before Yimo finished, Yimo used Immortal Essence, and Li He spat multiple mouthful of bloods. This wants the end. The blood kept spewing out as though it was going to drain the Immortal King of his blood. Chani saw that Yimo had no intentions of killing Li He and knew Yimo was concerned. She was planning to give some small compensation and give Yimo a way down. But now that she saw Yemo really dared to kill Li He, she immediately knew she was wrong. She quickly said, "We're willing to take out 200 million immortal crystals and 2 level 8 immortal spirit herb, 6 level 7 immortal spirit herb. Are you sending off a beggar?" Yemo said coldly, but he was shocked. Just what did they encounter in the Chaos Star realm? They could even get level 8 immortal spirit herb. "Don't attack. I have a shoe and blue flame. I'm willing to use this flame." Li He was scared soulless from the blood. He didn't dare to wait at all. Yemo's immortal essence loosened up, and he said plainly, "It's just a mere shoe and blue flame, but on the account of your genuine attitude, I'll let things go." Then Yemo threw Li He on the ground. Li He took out a jade box without hesitation and gave it to Yemo while his heart bled. In the Chaos Star realm, he earned the most due to this flame. But now, it was no longer his. Yemo took the flame and rejoiced. Shu and Blue Flame was ranked 21 in the 108 flames. It was a heaven flame. This was a type of 9 clear flame. It was truly something good. His South Abyssal Void Flame is Purple Nirvana level 3. If it devours a 9 clear flame, it would reach Immortal Flame. Yemo didn't want to use Miss Lotus Heartfire, so this Shu and Blue Flame was perfect. Immortal friend, Shu and Blue Flame will become one of the most important flames of Yucheng Emperor sect. If you take this flame away, Chan Yi knew how important the flame was to an emperor sect. If Yemo really took it, Yucheng Emperor sect wasn't going to let things go. "Oh, since you don't want to use this flame to compensate me, then take it. I don't want others to say I robbed it from you." Yemo gave the flame back to Li He. Seeing this, Li He quickly waved his hand. "No need, no need. This isn't the sex, I got it temporarily." The other immortal kings from Grand Heaven Domain shook their heads. As long as Li He said nothing, Yucheng Emperor sect would have an excuse to find Yemo. They could still find Yemo now, but they clearly would have no excuse. Yemo sneered and looked at Chan Yi. "Which one of you is correct? Is this flame private-owned, or belong to Yucheng Emperor sect?" Chan Yi looked contemptuously at Li He and could only say, "Since Li He said this flame is his, I probably got things wrong." Yemo raised the flame and said, "Li He beat my Mo, you immortal sect elder, for no reason. Now, he gave me this shoe and blue flame for compensation. This conflict ends here. If anyone dares to use any excuse to attack my Mo, you immortal sect, as long as I have one breath left, I will turn them into dust, no matter who it is." Yemo's tone was very dominant. Everyone inside and outside the square could hear it. The immortal kings outside the square heard this and subconsciously shivered. They were the people from the Heaven Lord Alliance. Only now did they realize why Gonghua Heaven Ming Changxue didn't dare to go up to Mou immortal sect. This sect leader was this powerful, and even when the Emperor sect offended him, he dares to ask for compensation. How could he care about a few immortal kings from the Heaven Lord Alliance? He didn't kill the people from the Emperor sect, but if ordinary immortal kings like them went up, how could Yemo not kill them? It seemed that there was no one who could stop him other than Immortal Monarch. Those two immortal kings from Extreme Sword sect saw Yemo offended Emperor sect and gave up on the idea of greeting him. Yemo breathed and went back to Lu Feng. He knew what he didn't wasn't the best, but after he decided to do it, his mind state went up a level. This was 3 birth chance Dao will true heart. If he killed Li He, his Dao heart would progress even more. If it was according to his true heart, he would kill Li He and not just teach him a lesson. But Yemo knew he couldn't kill Li He now. If he did, there would be no return between him and Emperor sect. If he was by himself, he wouldn't care, but he had a city and a sect now. But Yemo knew that even though he didn't kill Li He, he was enemies with these people from the Grand Heaven Domain. But if he did nothing, it would completely block his true heart and make him lose the possibility of breakthrough. That would be the greatest loss. Yemo knew more and more clearly that not only did he have to cultivate fast, but so did the sect. Otherwise, it would never be a true sect if it only relied on him. He said those words to protect Mou immortal sect. With the power he showed now, it meant that he had endless potential. So no matter how much people hated him, they wouldn't dare to touch Mou before he was dead. Lu Feng was very shocked. She didn't expect Yemo was many times stronger than she had imagined. More than 10 Immortal King primary stage couldn't even stop him. When Yemo was done, She breathed and explained the reason. Not long after Yemo left, those immortal kings came. They were rather quiet when they first came and found their own spots, but when the tower was about to open, Li got up and laughed, not caring that other people were still meditating. Lu Feng was interrupted when she was about to go to the next level, but she knew these people weren't ordinary, so she didn't dare to say much. However, that Li He saw Lu Feng's unhappy look and insulted Lu Feng. Lu Feng was an immortal king, and she couldn't take it and rebuked, saying that it was rude to interrupt people. Now, that Li He just chose to attack straight up. Although it was just him fighting, people nearby used Immortal King domain to bind Lu Feng. Lu Feng was heavily injured in 2 rounds. Hearing this, Yemo glanced coldly at Li He again. Li He shrunk his neck and didn't dare to look at Yemo. At this moment, the tower suddenly emitted golden rainbows. The mist was gone and the entire tower showed itself. Title status tower is open. Everyone's attention was immediately caught. At the very bottom, a golden door appeared. People couldn't scan their spirit sense in, but everyone knew that going inside meant they went to level 1 of the tower. Most of the immortal kings at the square looked at Yemo. The earlier one went in the better, but everyone knew Yemo's power. If someone went in before him and offended him, it was no good. Yemo saw this and got up saying, "Go in the tower from the front to the back." Yemo saw this and got up saying, "Go in the tower from the front to the back." The immortal king nearest the tower got up and saluted with his fists to Yemo before going in. With this, the immortal kings behind followed in. Yemo and Lu Feng were in the middle, so they went in halfway. As for not being able to find a room when he went in later, Yemo didn't worry at all. He believed with his immortal essence and spirit sense, he would be able to find a good room easily. Only a small part of immortal kings knew that there was no use going in early. The tower would wait for everyone to arrive before opening the stairs to the second level. No one wanted to go into the rooms of the first level. When Yemo and Lu Feng went in, they immediately felt a little dizzy. This seemed to be a teleportation formation door, but not really so. When they woke up, they found they were in a huge hall. The hall had no roof nor walls, but there were 9 open doors. No one could see what was inside. There were at least 1,000 people in the room. Only then did Yemo realize why Lu Feng said the competition inside the tower was intense. Yemo rejoiced as he saw a few familiar people. One was Hong Ling, one was Ren Fu. He didn't see Ji Shu and Chu Chi, probably because they haven't reached Immortal King. Yemo didn't want to use this identity to greet them. He just told Lu Feng that those 2 were Marshall Brothers' friends. If these 2 went to MOU Immortal Sect and he wasn't there, Lu Feng could let them choose a side peek each. Yemo saw a few people, but they all had conflict with Yemo. Little Immortal King Lu Meng, Miaochen Heaven Number 1 Master Di Wancheng, East Abyss Emperor Sect Xiang Chang'o. Yemo scanned, but he didn't see Yin Jiutian. There was no way Yin Jiutian hasn't reached Immortal King, but he probably didn't need to come again. Yemo was a little annoyed that he didn't see Lu Zhengquan. Outside the king naming Immortal City, a gray dashing light quickly landed. A middle-aged man appeared. It was Lu Zhengquan, who just came from Yuanla Heaven. Lu Zhengquan found out that the person who wiped out his estate was called Luo, and this guy built a new sect, MOU Immortal Sect. Luo took Luo continent cultivators very seriously. How could he not know that this Immortal King Luo was the person he was looking for? If his guess was right, a cultivator who just ascended for a few decades was already Immortal King power. If he kept growing, just how powerful would he be? When Lu Zhengquan heard that Yemo headed towards Immortal King tablet for king naming, he went over immediately. When Lu Zhengquan got to the tablet square, he saw the last few Immortal Kings going in. Without hesitation, he charged in the tower. There were already 1,200 Immortal Kings gathered here. At this time, pretty much all the Immortal Kings had come. Everyone was just in the first floor hall, waiting for the second level to open. When Chan Yi and them came in, they immediately saw many people they knew from the Grand Heaven domain and began chatting. Soon, a few Immortal Kings from the Grand Heaven domain looked at Yemo. Clearly they knew what happened, but Yemo wasn't scared at all. The other low heaven domain Immortal Kings saw many nefarious glances looking at Yemo and subconsciously kept distance with Yemo. Although people can't kill here, there were worse things. If someone didn't like you and used a chance to teach you a lesson and force you into a room, then you can't leave until the tower opens again. Yemo saw two people about towards him but was stopped Chan-E. Chan-E knew that in an one-on-one fight, no one could beat Yemo. However, those two had contemptuous glances, clearly thinking Chan-E and them were too weak. Yemo didn't care about this at all. If these two dared to come, he would send them to the level 1 rooms without hesitation. Although there were more immortal kings than rooms, no one wanted to go into the first level rooms. It was a matter of pride. Yemo felt strange that Di Wanqing and Chan-E both came from Yaoqing heaven, but Di Wanqing wasn't amongst the two looking for trouble. The last figure to come into level 1 caught everyone's attention. Everyone thought there wouldn't be any more people coming in, but someone came. It was Lu Zhengquan. He immediately saw Yemo. Looking exactly like the image he got from Yuhang heaven, he stared coldly at Yemo but deigned to go up to talk. Lu Zhengquan had Yemo's image, but so did Yemo. He was just wondering where this guy was, and he came. Lu Zhengquan. Yemo sneered. He had decided to keep Lu Zhengquan in the first floor. Lu Zhengquan didn't want others to know his conflict with Yemo, but Yemo didn't care. Lu Zhengquan frowned. When he saw Yemo, he already considered Yemo dead. He was ready to force Yemo into a room. However, Yemo just walked up over. Was he not scared of others knowing about the Chaos Tree? There's no Chaos Tree chi on him. Lu Zhengquan felt the essence spirit sound transmission to him, and then he heard Yemo say, Lu Zhengquan, you're a heaven lord, but you attack immortal ascension cultivators. Since you dare to attack Luo Yu continent cultivators, then don't blame me. I already wiped out your heaven lord estate. I wanted to kill you, but you ran away. Now that you see me again, it's your bad luck. With this, everyone looked over at Yemo. Hearing this, Lu Zhengquan realized that Yemo was finding an excuse to kill him. This was good. He wanted an excuse to kill Yemo too. Even though he can't kill him here, he could do it outside. Those two immortal kings who wanted to look for trouble with Yemo stopped. They all looked at Yemo in shock. Yemo was a mere immortal king primary stage, but he was this arrogant. He just casually wiped out a heaven lord estate. Could one do that so easily? Was he not afraid of the Heaven Lord Alliance turning him into dust? What they didn't understand was that this guy annihilated a Heaven Lord estate and could still stand here alive. Even the low heaven domain Heaven Lord Alliance had more than one immortal monarch. He took in a cold breath. He finally understood just how crazy Yemo was. He dared to even destroy a Heaven Lord estate. How could he be scared of him? If he didn't give out the shoe in blue flame, he would probably be dead. Luo, I wasn't even at Fenggang Immortal City. Capturing Luo Yu immortal ascension cultivators had nothing to do with me. But you broke the foundation of Hongyu Heaven. You annihilated my Heaven Lord estate. You're so arrogant. If I, Lu Zhengquan, don't kill you, I don't deserve to be king. Lu Zhengquan said. Although Lu Zhengquan said furiously, he was calmer than anyone. He didn't feel Chaos Tree Chi from Yemo, and neither did Kaime's essence spirit. There was only two possibilities. One was that Yemo's spirit controlled the Chaos Tree, and it was fused into his essence spirit. The second was that Yemo had Chaos World and hid it there. Of course, there was another possibility that Yemo wasn't the person he was looking for, but Lu Zhengquan believed that was impossible. Kaime Qianbei, would this person have Chaos World? Lu Zhengquan asked. Very difficult. How could something like a Chaos World be easily owned? But if he has Time Formation Disk and knows the laws of Chaos Tree, he might be able to use Time Formation Disk to spirit control the Chaos Tree early. The Essence Spirit said heavily. Just when Lu Zhengquan didn't know what to do, the Essence Spirit said, it's very easy. Attack him now, and if you injure him you will know if he spirit controls the Chaos Tree. If the Chaos Tree isn't spirit controlled and is on him, then he probably really has Chaos World. Just when Lu Zhengquan didn't know what to do, the Essence Spirit said, it's very easy. Attack him now, and if you injure him you will know if he spirit controls the Chaos Tree. If the Chaos Tree isn't spirit controlled and is on him, then he probably really has Chaos World. Hearing this, Lu Zhengquan was almost shaking with excitement. People on the side thought Lu Zhengquan was shaking with fury. Indeed, which Heaven Lord wouldn't be furious if their Heaven Lord estate was wiped out? Luo, I want to see where you get your confidence. Lu Zhengquan punched out. Lu Zhengquan seemed scholarly, but his punch was like the most ferocious immortal spirit beast. In that instant, all the lethal force in the hall was gathered. Some nearby immortal king's face changed and retreated. Lu Zhengquan's punch was far beyond ordinary immortal kings. Yimo was shocked. Lu Zhengquan was far stronger than ordinary immortal kings, but Yimo's face was calm while punching out and saying, "I have much more confidence than a fake gentleman immortal king like you." Yimo's punch instantly swept up a dominating immortal essence force. It didn't have any lethal force whirlpool. On the surface, it seemed Yimo's punch was far weaker than Lu Zhengquan's punch. Yimo was helpless. He didn't dare to use Void. Many people here might have seen him use Void before. If he used it, they could probably guess who he was. Yimo didn't use his full power. He only used 40%. Lu Zhengquan's power was far stronger than his expectation. Yimo didn't want Lu Zhengquan to be scared. If Lu Zhengquan was weak, then he would kick him into a level 1 room, and when the tower opens, he could still instant kill Lu Zhengquan. Now that Lu Zhengquan's power was far stronger, Yimo changed his mind. If Lu Zhengquan felt he couldn't beat him, then after exiting the tower, he would run immediately. Rumble. Lu Zhengquan's terrifying killing intent clashed with Yimo's immortal essence force. Space ripples formed in the hall. The powerful fist wind swept out. Almost everyone had to use immortal essence to stop it. A small portion of people's immortal essence barrier was torn open and received minor injuries. But against these two superpowers, no one dared to say anything. Those two immortal kings from the Grand Heaven domain, who wanted trouble with Yimo, also had their immortal essence barrier broken. They weren't injured, but their faces changed. Yimo didn't even fight them. Just his fist wind immortal essence wave was enough to shatter their immortal essence barrier. One could imagine that if they really want to start trouble with Yimo, things wouldn't be so easy. Lu Zhengquan's face was red. He was shocked. He didn't expect Yimo was this terrifying. That punch was evenly matched with him. Luckily, he came back in time. If Yimo had more time to cultivate, how could he be a match for him? With this, Lu Zhengquan had even more killing intent. He wouldn't choose to keep fighting here, but after leaving the tower, he would immediately kill Yimo and take everything. Although Yimo was far beyond his expectation, he wasn't worried as only he knew he hid some power. Yimo was a little shocked. Lu Zhengquan was far stronger than he expected. Only now did he take Lu Zhengquan more seriously. It seemed that Lu Zhengquan had the capability to back up his Heaven Lord status. After the class, Lu Zhengquan didn't keep attacking, nor did Yimo. Yimo knew that Lu Zhengquan wasn't going to let him go. Thinking about this, Yimo walked up to Lu Feng and took out a storage ring, telling her, "There's some cultivation resources inside. If I can't go back to the sect for now, give the pills and things inside as a reward when you see fit." Lu Feng accepted this without hesitation. Seeing the two just clash once and stopped fighting, everyone felt bored. At this moment, a golden stairway suddenly appeared in the middle of the hall. There was no end to the stairs. All the immortal kings here knew that the tower was officially open. The stairs led to level 2. The earlier one went the better. Lu Feng knew that she didn't need to worry about Yimo, so she ran up the stairs. In the blink of an eye, only Lu Zhengquan and Yimo remained. "You're the person who took my chaos tree, right? You took my chaos tree, wiped out my Heaven Lord estate. I came back just for you. I'll treat you well," Lu Zhengquan said calmly. Yimo was confused why Lu Zhengquan's tone was this calm, but he would definitely not admit such thing. "Idiot, I don't know what you're talking about. You dare to harm Luo, you cultivators, then don't blame me." Then, Yimo walked up the golden stairs. Seeing this, Lu Zhengquan asked Kaimi Qianbei, "Would it be him?" "It's definitely him, otherwise, would he go wipe out the Heaven Lord estate for a few cultivation realm cultivators? Only someone who must kill you would do this. This person isn't as impulsive as he acted. When he fought with you, he probably hid some power." The essence spirit said. Lu Zhengquan sneered, "I only used 60% power just then. Even if he hides his power, he would have used 70% in that fight. I really hope I can fight with him. I just hope he doesn't disappoint me. This person ruined Qian Bei's huge plans. If I don't disintegrate him, how can I be satisfied?" Lu Zhengquan didn't chase up too. He thought exactly what Yimo thought. He was planning to force Yemo into a room at level 1, but Yemo's power changed his mind. He didn't want to scare Yemo off. After Yemo walked on the golden stairs, he felt an extremely strange pressure. It was strange because it wasn't just spirit sense and immortal essence pressure, but also a mental pressure and bodily pressure. It also tested one's mind state. These stairs tested every aspect of an immortal king's power. If you were weak, you couldn't reach the next level. The pressure at level 2 was nothing to Yemo, but from this, he could tell that the pressure later one would be getting larger and larger. Yemo rapidly entered level 2 after resisting the pressure. Level 2 was similar to level 1. In the middle was a faint golden stairway. There were also 9 rooms here, but unlike the first floor, the rooms were actually filled. Some immortal kings probably knew they weren't strong, and they couldn't find a room up there, so they might as well stay at level 2. Yemo didn't. He went up to level 3 immediately. Then level 4, level 5. When Yemo reached the 10th stairs, he saw people fighting over rooms. But the immortal kings fighting here aren't very strong. If they lost, they could only go to a higher level. If one couldn't survive on the stairs, they would be sent back to level 1. When Yemo appeared at the 30th floor, there were 5 people fighting for one room. Yemo didn't see Lu Feng on the way. As he went higher, he felt even greater pressure, especially spirit sense. If one couldn't withstand it, their sea of consciousness would be heavily injured. Lu Feng was at the 39th floor. She knew this was her maximum limit. Lu Feng was at the 39th floor. She knew this was her maximum limit. But there were 30 or so people here. Lu Feng knew that even if she could go up a level, she wouldn't be able to find a room, so she might as well fight for one here. The 9 rooms were wide open. If you got here first and no one was fighting over it, you can press your hand and go in. But if there were multiple people fighting over a room, you had to stand at the door waiting to accept the challenge. There were 2 handprints at the 2 sides of a door. If you press your hand in one of them for 3 seconds without anyone else pressing the other, this room was yours. If someone else pressed it within 3 seconds, then you would have to accept the challenge. When 2 people were fighting for the same room, no one else can enter the room. If there were too many people challenging you, you only had to win 2 times in a row and the room was yours. Lu Feng benefited from Yemo's cultivation experience and the dual spirit pill Yemo gave her, which allowed her to climb the stairs faster than others. She wasn't the first to come to level 39. She was the 9th, but luckily she put her hand on the room for 3 seconds before the 10th person came. When Yemo reached 42nd floor, he finally saw someone familiar. Renfu was fighting an intense battle with another immortal king. Yemo didn't keep going up. He wanted to help Renfu since he saw her. Rumble. Yemo's immortal king domain expanded, and that immortal king fighting Renfu was immediately bound. Renfu was completely unaffected. Renfu's ring struck the immortal king's chest. People nearby could hear the sound of ribs breaking. When this immortal king was struck away, he yelled in the air, "You dare to break the rules here. Why weren't you teleported away?" Everyone else felt strange too. There was someone who dared to break the rules and not get teleported to level 1. This was too strange. Yemo didn't speak. He felt an extremely powerful rule wanting to drag him away. He could even feel that his feet was about to leave the ground. That pulling force was getting stronger and stronger. Yemo sighed. He wanted to speak to Renfu, but he didn't expect intervening here would teleport him out. The other people saw Yemo was fine and kept fighting. Meanwhile, for Yemo, he couldn't handle that teleporting power anymore. Yemo forcefully used his immortal essence, wanting to speak to Renfu first, but when he found that the pulling power disappeared when he drew it into the Golden Page world. The Golden Page world could mitigate this power. Yemo rejoiced. He sent all the pulling power into the Golden Page world. The power was incessant, but it wasn't enough for the Golden Page world. Haha. Yemo laughed. It was all immortal kings here. No one was stronger than him. He wasn't scared of exposing the Golden Page world. Yemo was very confident in his power. No one of the same cultivation level could see through his sea of consciousness. Seeing that Yemo was really fine and not teleported away, that immortal king didn't dare to talk. He immediately went into the 43rd floor. He couldn't mess with someone like Yemo. Only an idiot would act against him. Seeing this, Yemo ignored that immortal king and walked up to Renfu. Renfu said. Renfu greet a mortal friend. If a mortal friend want this room, Renfu is willing to go. Renfu felt strange why Yimo would fight over this room with her. According to Yimo's power, he could go to a higher level. Yimo's sound transmission to Renfu. I'm Yimo's martial brother. I can't expose my identity restriction. Yimo has finished building Imo Immortal Sect in Gonghua Heaven. If you go to Gonghua Heaven, you can go to Imo Immortal Sect. I already spoke with Elder Lu Feng. You can go find her. Then Yimo gave Renfu a jade card. Renfu was shook. She immediately guessed that this person might be Yimo himself, but since he deigned admit it, there must be a reason. Renfu took the jade card and saluted with her fists. Go in. I'm going up. Yimo pointed at the room. Renfu nodded and put her hand on the side of the room. A few seconds later the door disappeared. No one came to fight over this room during the process. Meanwhile, Yimo had already gone on the golden stairs. Yimo didn't know if going in the room can really help one sense the immortal King Dao wave and help with God art fusion and learning, but he benefited quite a lot from the golden stairs. The pressure helped him find weak spots in his spirit sense. Yimo would adjust this immediately. As for his body refinement, it was even more obvious. He hadn't seen other body refinement cultivation methods. He derived his own body refinement cultivation method. This golden stairs immediately allowed Yimo to sense weak spots in his body so he can adjust the cultivation method and refine the weak spots. This was only 40-something level. Yimo believed if he could go higher he would benefit even more. At the 43rd floor, Yimo stealthed himself. No matter if people could see him or not, he would keep going up in Steedle. He did this as he had the feeling that this tower couldn't stop him from going higher. He didn't want others to see him climbing the stairs so easily. More importantly, he didn't want Lu Zhengxuan to know which level he was at. As Yimo went higher, he immersed into the enlightenment from the stairs. He had been cultivating in the time formation disk, and although this could allow him to progress fast, there was a drawback, and that was learning and experience. When he was abstruse immortal, Dao-seeking Tower gave him a chance for enlightenment, but he learned a few god arts. Now that he was a mortal king, this tower gave him another chance. Lu Zhengxuan asked about Yimo wherever he could, but after he reached 43rd floor, the answers he got was ambiguous. So he sped up to 44 and 45, but Lu Zhengxuan was more disappointed. It meant that after Yimo reached 43rd floor he disappeared. Kaimi Qianbei, how could this person suddenly disappear? Lu Zhengxuan couldn't help asking. I haven't gone through this title status tower, but it tests all aspects of an immortal king's power. Perhaps that person is strong, but his body isn't very powerful. After all, using the time formation disk means you can't be cultivating body refinement. The tower has a high requirement for body refinement. He might have gone into a room around 43 or 45. The essence spirit said. Lu Zhengxuan felt this was correct. If Yimo really used time formation disk to forcefully bring up his power, his immortal essence and spirit sense might be powerful, but his body can't be strong by using the time formation disk. When Yimo was at level 61 to 62, he finally felt some pressure. If he was an immortal spirit body tertiary stage, he would face even greater pressure. But when he came to level 62, he saw someone arrive here before him. It was Miaoqing Heaven number 1 Emperor Sect Jiuqian Emperor Sect's Diwanqing. Yimo knew his guy wasn't simple on the immortal ship, but Diwanqing was struggling a lot now. He stood at a room and rested a moment before putting his hand on the door. Clearly, he doesn't plan to climb any higher. Yimo estimated that this guy probably climbed the highest other than him. Yimo kept climbing. After 63 the pressure seemed much higher. But now, Yimo wasn't in a rush. He was slowly meditating and perfecting his immortal king primary stage god art and spirit sense. Yimo thought he would be the only one left after level 62, but what he didn't expect was that he saw another masked female immortal at level 71. Although her face was concealed, her body was very good. Her white immortal robes made her seem more ethereal, but she was resting on the stairs to level 72. Although her face was concealed, her body was very good. Her white immortal robes made her seem more ethereal, but she was resting on the stairs to level 72. Yimo didn't expect there would be such an absurd woman to be able to reach level 71. He knew he could come here only because his spirit sense and immortal essence was far stronger than people of the same level, and he was an immortal spirit body tertiary stage body refinement immortal. More importantly, he had the Golden Page world. Yemo had some understanding of this place. He could transfer the pressure here into the Golden Page world. This made Yemo feel Tich's Tower was a realm too, and it had its own world law. The Golden Page world's laws might be higher than this tower's, so he could transfer the pressure here. So what right did this female immortal king have to climb here? Who is it? The female suddenly stared at Yemo and asked. Yemo dazed. He didn't expect his slightest emotions exposed himself. Yemo didn't keep hiding himself. He showed his body. It's you? You can come to level 71? The white-robed female immortal didn't believe there would be a third person to be able to come here, someone she saw before as well. But soon, she looked coldly at Yemo, wanting to see if he could go into level 72. She looked down on this hiding in the dark behavior. Yemo saluted with his fists. Hee. I like to cultivate my stealth cultivation method while going up the tower. It seems I'm the second one here. You keep doing what you want. I'm going up. The female immortal dazed. Since the tower existed, very few people could come to level 71. This guy wasn't even going to rest and was going to go up to level 72. Was he really this powerful, or was he acting tough in front of him? She had seen too many people acting tough in front of her. Seeing Yemo was really going to go up, she couldn't resist saying, actually, you're not the second, you're the third. So don't overestimate yourself. Yemo dazed. Third? Was there someone at a higher level? He was already shocked that Di Wancheng was at level 60-something, but now there was actually a few stronger than Di Wancheng. This vast immortal realm really had countless masters. That's right, there's indeed someone reaching level 72 earlier than me. So don't think too highly of yourself. The female immortal felt very annoyed at how casual Yemo looked. She thought that Yemo definitely needed rest. Yemo frowned. He didn't even say anything. Why was this woman so aggressive? There was no conflict of interest, so Yemo ignored her and walked on the stairs to level 72. Seeing this, the female immortal king dazed for a moment and ate a pill. She then stepped on the stairs without hesitation. After going through so many stairs, he had some experience now. Usually, the pressure would increase some each time he went up one staircase. Every 9 staircases, the pressure would increase greatly. From level 71 to level 72, there would be an increase, but the increase is far from as much as level 72 to level 73. The higher the level, the more Yemo felt he gained a deeper understanding of his god art. Suddenly, Yemo stopped in the middle of the stairs. He felt his rainbow sword technique was almost about to break through. That feeling was very bad. He was just that tiny bit away from breaking through. The female immortal behind Yemo saw Yemo waving out sword moves and was immediately greatly astonished. She finally realized that Yemo wasn't acting tough. He really didn't have much pressure. Yemo felt the female immortal come, so he didn't stay on the stairs and kept going up. The pressure here wasn't enough for him to break through. If he went to level 73, his sword god art might have a new breakthrough. Speeding up, Yemo soon finished the staircase and came to level 72. Saint. You indeed exceed my expectations. You came up this quickly, a white-robed man said as soon as Yemo came up, but before he finished, he dazed. This person wasn't Saint. Who are you? This immortal king asked Yemo dazedly. The man's body wasn't as perfect as Yemo's, but he was extremely handsome-looking without looking feminine. Seeing that this person wasn't polite, Yemo immediately frowned. What does that have to do with you? Haha, it's my bad. I'm Dingjie. The white-robed man laughed. Hearing this, Yemo had a good impression of this person. I like it. You made it here. You're not that little girl from Jiufan Immortal Pond. We can fight. Then Dingjie released a red spear and smashed towards Yemo. Yemo didn't expect this guy to fight immediately, but he released Zisu and hacked over Rainbow Sword Rays. Explosions sounded in this hall. Dingjie's spear ripples, and Yemo's sword rays clashed together. Immortal essence exploded, forming crippled waves in the hall. This feels good. Dingjie called out, and then charged into Yemo's immortal king domain and punched. Lu Jingquan's punch only brought up the lethal force in the space, but Dingjie's punch already brought the entire space moving. Yemo's immortal king domain crippled immediately. Yemo approved of this guy's power even though he didn't use full power. He punched out too. This time Yemo didn't use full power but 80% of his immortal essence. A lethal force whirlpool formed. The instant Yemo punched out, the space brought with Ding Jie's punch was completely annihilated. Rumble. The entire hall crackled with explosive immortal essence. Haha, amazing. You didn't even use half of your power when you fought that guy at level 1. I underestimated you. Good thing you can come to level 72 and fight with me. Otherwise, staying with that little girl is too boring. Ding Jie laughed, and his force rose drastically. Clearly he was going to use more power. Ding Psycho, who are you calling a little girl? A cold and little coarse voice sounded. Yemo immediately knew that female immortal came. Ding Jie's face froze for a moment, and he laughed, putting away his power. He grabbed back that red spear. Someone is here. There's no point in fighting. I know you didn't use your full power. I'm probably no match for you. I haven't asked of your name yet. Yemo had a great impression of Ding Jie. This guy was a straightforward person. Yemo saluted with his fists. There are people hunting me everywhere. I live in stealth. If it was some other place, Yemo would have told his real name, but there was another woman here, and he didn't know who this Ding Jie was. Ding Jie wasn't dumb. He could tell Yemo had concerns. He didn't believe Yemo was worried about that Lu Zhengquan. Friend, don't worry. No matter who you are, I won't tell anyone. Goddess is Jiufan, Immortal Pawn Saint. She's not someone who can't keep her mouth shut. I'm from Great Red Heaven, Red River Emperor Sect, Ding Jie. People call me Psycho Ding. Ding Jie said, I'm Yemo, an solo cultivator. I just built my own MO, you immortal sect, not long ago. Yemo felt Ding Jie was genuine. He wanted to make a genuine friend like this, so he took off his face mask magic artifact and saluted with his fists. Okay, I was wondering why someone as strong as you looked so old. So you wore a mask, Ding Jie said. Okay, I was wondering why someone as strong as you looked so old. So you wore a mask, Ding Jie said. Then Ding Jie seemed to thought of something and asked, Yemo, who is the guy hunting you? After King naming, take me to see him. Yemo waved his hand. I'm not scared of that guy. You don't need to intervene in such small business. That's right, even I'm no match for you. The guy who dares to fight you will definitely be. Ding Jie remembered EY was on the side and quickly stopped himself. You're Yemo? Looked at Yemo for a long time. When she heard Ding Jie admit he wasn't as strong as Yemo, she was already shocked. Ding Jie was extremely prideful. He had never admitted he was weaker than someone of the same state. But hearing Yemo's name, she realized why. Yemo's heart clenched. His instinct told him that Ding Jie was trustworthy, so he didn't want to hide himself too much when Ding Jie wanted to be friends. But he didn't expect this saint would know someone like him. Yemo, don't worry. No matter who you are, saint won't spill it. I can promise with my life. Ding Jie said. Sneered. I'm not some loudmouth. You don't need to look at me with a frown. Yemo smiled and saluted with his fists. Thank you, Saint Yi. But how did you know my name? EY said plainly, I not only know your name, but I was on the same boat. You went to Qingwei Heaven on. Who on that boat wouldn't know you? You were on that immortal ship? Yemo immediately realized. If he was there, she would have definitely heard of him. He even killed an immortal king there. How could people not know? Oh, Goddess, what did Yemo do on the ship? Ding Jie asked. He was only Great Eternity Immortal at the time, but he killed an immortal king. Do you think he wouldn't be famous? Said plainly, but she was very shocked. When she heard of Yemo seemed to only be Great Eternity Immortal Primary Stage. How is he an Immortal King Primary Stage now? Ding Jie raised his thumb. Yemo, I made the right friend indeed. Although I don't feel I'm inferior to anyone, but I don't dare to kill Immortal King as Great Eternity Immortal. You're stronger than me. Ding Jie suddenly said, then I'm going to come to you when I want to fight. You're the most suitable for a fight. It's uncomfortable fighting others. In my view, the more you can fight, the more you're worthy to be friends with. Yemo laughed. You're Pisco Ding indeed. Ding Jie laughed. Of course, it has to be someone I approve of, otherwise, I can't be bothered fighting him. Yemo suddenly thought of Yin Jiutian and said, Ding Jie, I'll introduce you someone to fight. That guy's about the same power level as me, but he loves fighting. But you need to be careful. If you can't beat him, he will kill you. He wouldn't care if you're from some emperor sect or the disciple of a divine emperor. Oh, there's such an interesting guy. Tell me, what's his name? Ding Jia rubbed his hands and said excitedly. He loved fighting, and it was fun fighting Emo, but he knew he was no match for Emo. If he could find someone only a little weaker than him, it would be satisfying. This person is called Yin Jutian. We have conflict too. Emo said. Ding Jia waved his hand. The next time Yin Jutian sees me, he's dead. Then, Ding Jia said, when I finish king naming, I'll go to Gonghua Heaven Emo, you immortal sect, to find you. I'm going to go in and feel the immortal King Dao waves. Emo, you choose a room too. I didn't expect there to be 3 of us at level 72. Emo smiled. I still want to try level 73. What? Emo, are you okay? You can go to level 73? There's only 1 level difference, but the pressure is almost twice as great. Ever since the tower existed, even the most talented immortal king can only stay at level 72. Ding Jia said seriously. If Emo couldn't get to level 73, he would be heavily injured. You still want to go to level 73? Couldn't resist asking. She thought differently to Ding Jia. Since Emo could easily come up to level 72, he might really be able to reach level 73. I still want to try. Since I've already come, how can I stop if I don't challenge my limit? Emo said. Ding Jia dazed and raised his thumb. Okay, I'll go up with you. Are you crazy? After you enter the tower, you will never be able to come again. If you fail at level 73, you might be teleported back to level 1. It would make it 100 times harder for you to reach Immortal Monarch. Said in shock. Ding Jia laughed. I'm called Psycho Ding. If I don't do a few insane things, I wouldn't deserve that name. Emo, it was such a wise decision to be friends with you. My friends aren't as bold as you. Sani, why? You can stay here. I'm going up with Emo. Luckily, I didn't choose a room, or how can I participate in something this amusing? Ding Jia laughed and was going to step on the stairs. The stairs went from faint gold to gold. Let's go up together. Seeing this, Emo was going to follow immediately. Ding Jia didn't care, but Emo couldn't harm him. If this guy couldn't stop the pressure, then he would be teleported to level 1. Ding Jia looked at Emo in confusion. Emo, why didn't you try to stop me? Emo felt this Ding Jia was more and more interesting. He laughed. Psycho Ding. If I persuade you, would you not go up? Of course not. If you can try, why can't I? Ding Jia answered without hesitation. Emo waved his hand. That's it. I know I can't persuade you, so why do it? Ding Jia laughed again. He really felt he made the right friend this time. Emo said seriously, Ding Jia, cultivation is going against the heavens. If you know something is impossible, but you still do it, that's dumb. But if there's a sliver of hope and you don't do it, you'll be that tiny bit off from the people standing at the peak. Just like how you're going to level 73 now, you know the chance of success is 1%, but there's still a chance. So from that, I won't stop you. Plus, Emo paused and laughed. You're going with me? How can I sever your immortal king path? Ding Jia looked at Emo in different light. To be able to feel a sliver of hope here, Emo was no ordinary person. Just when he was about to compliment Emo suddenly said something completely unreliable. How can one help people in the tower? They would be teleported out at any time. Wait, suddenly said, I want to try that sliver of hope. Ding Jia heard this and dazed. You're the saint of Jiufan Immortal Pond. If you dare to take this risk and end your Dao, how can your sect let you go? Don't blame it on Emo by then. Yi's face went cold. Ding Jia, which level I go is my own business. What does it have to do with Emo? How come you guys can go but I can't? I'm the saint of an emperor sect. Can't I pursue that 1% chance? Emo is bullshitting. Do you really believe it? I just feel Emo is a worthy friend. That's why I'm going with him. Do you feel the same too? Ding Jia looked at in confusion. Said plainly, I don't know clearly if Emos is a worthy friend, but I just feel what he said is some right. Even if there's 1% chance, I still want to try. Said plainly, I don't know clearly if Emos is a worthy friend, but I just feel what he said is some right. Even if there's 1% chance, I still want to try. If she won a level 73 for king naming, it would definitely be twice as strong as King naming at level 72. Ding Jie said nothing, and neither would Yimo. He didn't see Ding Jie climbing to level 72, but from how Yi did it, Yimo suspected if she could go to level 73. The moment Yimo stood on the golden stairs, he felt things wasn't right. The pressure was indeed twice as strong, but most importantly, there was God art learning pressure. That meant that if you learned a God art on here, and if you can't create it before you reached level 73, you would be crushed by the pressure. It might not necessarily be a God art, it could also be a cultivation problem that has troubled you for a long time. With that terrifying spirit sense and immortal essence pressure as well as mental pressure, who would have the time and effort to create a God art? Just after going a few steps, Yi and Ding Jie's face became very pale. Yimo saw it and knew the two cow don't last anymore. Ding Jie might be able to go up a few stairs, but Yi was about to be teleported away at any time. Yimo reached out his immortal king and spirit sense domain, forming walls of spirit sense. At the same time, all the terrifying pressure crushed towards Yimo. Yimo's face went pale as well. He immediately contacted the Golden Page World and sent all the law pressure into the Golden Page World. Even so, he was still feeling shaky. Yimo was certain that with such powerful pressure, even an immortal emperor might not be able to take it. If he didn't have the Golden Page World, he would have been teleported away already. Ding Jie and Yi were in despair. This terrifying pressure wasn't something they could take. Only now did they realize how much they had to pay for a simple sentence. Yi was ready to be teleported. Whether it was level 1 or level 72 depended on her luck. But instantly, they felt the terrifying pressure disappear. They then saw Yimo's face pale and shaky. They immediately realized what was going on. Just when Ding Jie wanted to speak, Yi yelled, "He's taking on the pressure right now. If you separate his attention, it won't benefit any of us. What we can do now is to use this time and learn our God art, and then reduce the pressure for Yimo." Yi was equally as shocked as Ding Jie. At this moment, Yimo had eased up. The pressure was all sent into the Golden Page World. Then, Yimo began to learn sword God art. His sword God art still lacked that little bit to be perfected. As Yimo learned more, he walked further on the stairs. Every time he felt he needed to improve a bit more, he subconsciously walked a step forward. Ding Jie and Yi were immersed in their God art creation. They didn't have any pressure at all. Yimo's God art learning gradually affected their learning, and as Yimo walked forward, they subconsciously followed Yimo. When Yimo made the last step and reached level 73, a complete new sword God art formed. The next moment, Yimo released Zissou and hacked out. Yi and Ding Jie only reached level 73 after Yimo hacked out. As soon as they reached level 73, they felt they were in shivers. The nearby space seemed to be able to move and was going to bring them towards the purple sword ray Yimo hacked out. They quickly used Immortal Essence to stop the urge to charge towards the sword ray and looked at Yimo's strike in shock. Even the extremely stable space in this tower was hacked out a dark crevice. Rumble. The purple sword rays left a purple mark in here that didn't disappear. The strike was done, but nearby space still seemed to be moving. There were some light cracks. Ding Jie and Yi knew clearly that although it seemed Yimo's move had ended, it actually didn't. The killing intent of the strike was still sucking away the nearby life force. Seeing Yimo clutch that strange sword tightly, Ding Jie and Yi were speechless. Yimo was still in enlightenment when he hacked this out. They knew they were far from being able to stop that strike. They were at the back of this strike. If they were at the front, there would be nothing they could do. Ding Jie knew that although he created a new God art, he couldn't use it. Compared to this magnificent strike, Yimo taking them to level 73 wasn't that shocking anymore. After a long while, Yimo opened his eyes and the sword in his hands flew up and went into the sheath. This strike is called crevice. Hearing this, the two couldn't help thinking about the crevice Yimo's strike left. It was no ordinary crevice. It brought out the void lethal force. The two knew that this strike meant death and destruction. The instant Yimo put away Zissou, the two felt the nearby lethal force dissipate. Good sword. Ding Jie sweated cold. Yi looked at Yimo with more disbelief. Ever since she begun cultivation, all she had come in contact with were grand masters or prodigies. But she had never seen an immortal king as powerful as Yimo. Yet, this immortal king wasn't from the grand heaven domain. He came from the low heaven domain. Even Ding Jie admitted he was no match. Just how terrifying was this person? Ding Jie wasn't famous in the grand heaven domain, but she knew just powerful Ding Jie was. He just didn't lower himself to fight with ordinary people. Brother Yi, you're the first person that I actually admire. That strike is too terrifying. Next time I'm not going to fight you. I'll go teach that Yin Ju Tian a lesson. Ding Jie shook his head. He was planning to fight Emo after exiting the tower. Emo didn't explain this strike and smiled to the two. Are you two going to stay at level 73 or come to level 74 with me? Yi woke up and immediately said, thank you for bringing us Martial Brother Yi. Yi still wants to go to level 74. She knew now wasn't the time to be polite. If she went to level 74, she could definitely learn and use this new god art. Ding Jie clapped his hands. Okay. I didn't believe it at all before, but now I do. Emo, you're definitely the number one of this tower, and you took us to be second and third. Since Emo brought you up on my account, let me be second later. You can be third. Ding Jie clapped his hands. Okay. I didn't believe it at all before, but now I do. Emo, you're definitely the number one of this tower, and you took us to be second and third. Since Emo brought you up on my account, let me be second later. You can be third. Ding Jie thought with Yi's temper, she would definitely rebuke this. But what he didn't expect was that Yi and said seriously, I'll listen to Martial Brother Ding. All I want to is just to go up. Whatever ranking I get will be my fortune. Yi knew Ding Jie was right. Emo only took her up due to Ding Jie. He considered Ding Jie a friend while he was still wary of her. Saint Yi, you don't seem very right. Ding Jie looked at Yi in shock. Yi not only didn't rebuke, but also called him Martial Brother Ding. Haha, okay. I finally made you willingly stay third. Emo, take us. I want to go to level 74. Ding Jie laughed. Emo was straightforward and didn't waste time, then let's go up. The three went from 73 to 74, and then to 75. At level 75, Ding Jie created and used his spear god art, Rain Veil. Level 76, EY used her first god art, Sword Cloud Kill. At level 79, Emo created 5 wave kills. Level 80, Ding Jie and EY's Immortal King Dao Wave improved even more. When the two woke up from the endless enlightenment, they realized they had come to level 81. This is the peak? Yi woke up in shock. Ding Jie also looked at the floating 81 in shock. They thought they were dreaming. In the history of the tower, rarely anyone could even come to level 73, but they were at level 81 now. This was the top. Their achievement may never be surpassed. Although they just went up a few levels, the enlightenment they've had in their entire lives didn't add up to these few stiers. I understand, Ding Jie murmured. Yi said nothing, but she did too. The greatest enlightenment didn't come from the rooms, but came from the stairs which started at level 73. They knew that the things they felt were something they wouldn't be able to feel even if they stayed in a room for 1,000 years. If one didn't reach level 73, they would never be able to achieve the highest, or they couldn't Dao Vindication. The two were very grateful to Emo. Emo led them to level 81. Emo stood at level 81 and didn't move. He didn't have the same enlightenment these two did. Suddenly, Emo looked back at the two. Did you two have a lot of enlightenment at this tower? The two nodded at the same time. Said very much. Not only did I learn new god art, I also fused my power and have an extremely deep understanding of Immortal King Dao status. Ding Jie nodded. Seeing Emo not talk, suddenly asked, Martial Brother Yi, you probably learned more than us, right? Ding Jie looked expectantly at Emo too. Emo thought for a moment and said, other than learning a few god arts, I didn't have any learnings about Immortal King Dao status nor power. How is that possible? And Ding Jie blurted out at the same time. They could come here all because of Emo. Emo said heavily, Ding Jie, I take you for a brother, so I say this. As for I trust your character, so I believe the words I say here today won't reach out. Emo, don't worry, although I'm a Pisco, but if I choose a friend, I will never betray him. I've seen many immortal kings, and you're the only one I admire. Ding Jie said without hesitation. Yi immediately followed Brother Yi. Zhantai Yi swear that I won't spill any of Brother Ye's secrets. If I betray my oath, I will die to divine damnation. Yi Mo nodded. Your surname is Zhantai? Yes, I was taken in by the sect when I was young. The sect leader gave me the surname. Yi said, for someone like Ding Jia, it was normal that he didn't swear. If he did, then he wouldn't have taken you as a friend. Yi Mo, tell us, what did you find? Ding Jia couldn't wait anymore. Yi Mo nodded and asked, Goddess, you can Ding Jia came from Emperor sects? After the Divine Emperor battle, did anyone else vindicate their Tao and become Divine Emperor? Yi quickly said, Brother Yi, if you approve of Zhantai Yi, then just call me Yi. Okay, Yi, tell me, have you heard of anyone reaching Divine Emperor? Yi Mo asked. Ding Jia answered without hesitation, no. I heard that after the Divine Emperor battle, no more Divine Emperors were born. The strongest people were only half divines. Yi added, it's said that the people closest to Divine Emperor eventually failed in Tao vindication. Those few people are Yin Wu Dao, who wanted to use the 33 heavens for Tao vindication, Pengli Grand Emperor, who wanted to use Tao vindication seed to vindicate Tao, and the most ordinary Healing Yu. Neither of them succeeded. Yi Mo sighed. The immortal realm might not be the original immortal realm. As I walked up here, I had this new feeling, and that was the laws of the immortal realm are incomplete even in the grand heaven domain. Thus, cultivating in a place with incomplete laws, no matter how talented you are, you can't vindicate Tao. At most, you're an immortal emperor. Yi Mo came to this conclusion through the Golden Page world. The Golden Page world's laws were incomplete, but it was a complete world. Meanwhile, the immortal realm was split into 33 pieces. Yi Mo, you're saying that no matter how hard we work, we can only be immortal emperor at most? Ding Jia asked in shock. Yi Mo nodded. If I'm not wrong, it should be so. Yi Mo knew that if the laws of his Golden Page world was complete, he didn't need to vindicate Tao in the immortal realm. He could use his Chaos world for Tao vindication, but that was only for him. I trust you. Ding Jia's face also went serious. Yi's face was heavy too. As a top prodigy, of course she hoped she could vindicate Tao. She had the instinct that Yi Mo was very capable, and he wouldn't lie to her on this. Yi Mo, is there something you haven't said? Ding Jia asked. Yi Mo said, perhaps it has to do with my cultivation method. On the last 9 stairs I saw this scene. It was an endless heaven domain. A red sun is falling west. As it did, the boundless heaven domain continent slowly melted. The last immortals looked at the falling sun in despair, but there was nothing they could do. They could only melt away with this world. Disappeared world. The immortal realm is in its dusk? Ding Jia and Yi asked in shock. Yi Mo said heavily, I don't know, but after this scene came out, I had the feeling that if I stay in this tower, I would never be able to vindicate Tao. It's like being locked up in a cage and eventually disappear like that world. What do we do? Yi subconsciously asked. Yi Mo said, go to level 82. What? Yi and Ding Jia said in shock at the same time. There was only 81 levels, and they were all here at level 81. There was no golden stairs. How did they get to level 82? What? Yi and Ding Jia said in shock at the same time. There was only 81 levels, and they were all here at level 81. There was no golden stairs. How did they get to level 82? Where does level 82 come from? Ding Jia asked. Yi Mo asked, then where does level 81 come from? Ding Jia was more confused. Level 81 already existed. Everyone knew that since the tower existed, there was level 81. Yi fell silent. She seemed to have understood what Yi Mo meant. Yi Mo said, whether it's inside or outside, can your spirit sense scan more places? No. Ding Jia answered without hesitation. Then since the tower existed, has someone come to level 81? Definitely not. Then how do people know there's 81 levels? There's no stairs to level 82. Are we going to force our way up? Ding Jia looked at Yi Mo in confusion. Yi Mo shook his head. Even an immortal emperor wouldn't be able to open the tower, much less us. But I feel that this tower is like a world with laws. You can't see the top nor the end. Only once we find a law that a path would form. We might not be able to see this path, but it can lead to level 82. This Dingjia and Yi were dazed. To find a law of the tower and walk out of it, which a mortal king can do that? Seeing the two look at him, Emo said, I can try, just wait for me on the side. This might take a few months, or I might not be able to find a way by the time the tower opens. The two had no objections. But what I need to say it, if I fail, you might not even be able to keep your essence spirit alive. Before Emo finished, Dingjia immediately said, I don't mind, you're not afraid. Why should I? I don't mind too, Yi said without hesitation. Even an ordinary person wouldn't let go of the opportunity for Tao vindication, much less her. Emo sat in the middle of level 81 and soon went into meditation. He used the three-birth chant to derive, and soon a Tao wave of when the universe was first born emanated from Emo. The two immediately felt this sliver of Tao wave. The two felt it was ordinary and quickly sat down, feeling that sliver of three-birth chant Tao wave. Emo had never used three-birth chant in front of someone else, and this time, the two benefited greatly. Their power grew rapidly under that sliver of Tao wave. Their talents were countless times higher than Emo. As soon as Emo used this chaos cultivation method in front of them, they immediately learned some of the benefits. Time flew by, 1 month, 2 months, 10 months, but level 81 was still very silent. The doors to the rooms were wide open. When the 11th month passed, Emo suddenly opened his eyes. He had vaguely grasped something, but he couldn't clearly sense it. Emo knew he didn't have the time to keep feeling it, so he had to wake up. He wanted to use this vague feeling to find that hidden path. The instant Emo woke up, the two's enlightenment were gone. Just when they wanted to speak, Emo waved his hand, stopping them. Emo suddenly motioned in the air before stepping in air. Dingjia and Yi found in shock that an obscure stairway suddenly appeared. They knew this was definitely not caused by Emo's magic. Emo found a sliver of law in here, and thus the stairway formed. From this, it could be seen that the stairs from level 1 to level 81 were formed by laws. Suddenly, they heard Emo say, open up your mind and feel the lead of my spirit sense. Dingjia let open his mental barrier without hesitation. If Emo wanted to attack Dingjia now, he could make Dingjia disappear with one will. Yi hesitated for a second and then did the same. She wasn't scared that Emo would harm her, but she was a woman after all, a saint too. If she opened her mind to a man, it would ruin her reputation. It was like getting assaulted. She believed Emo wouldn't do anything to her. Indeed, as soon as she opened her mind, Emo's spirit sense went into her sea of consciousness and led her forward. It controlled the two and where they stepped and how hard. When the two were in sync with Emo used a few hand signs and took another step. This foot clear landed mid-air, but when it landed, a faint stairway appeared. As Emo stepped forward, the three soon left the ground of level 81. After walking tens of steps, they completely disappeared from level 81. The two knew that they were like walking on a steel string. One mistake, and they wouldn't get into level 82 but get crushed by space disposition. Emo knew how dangerous and scary this was, but he had no other way. He definitely didn't want to be trapped in this tower and can't vindicate his Tao. Even though his golden page world might provide another way, he didn't want to take that risk. Instead of leaving a mark like this in his mind, he might as well gamble. He might be rising his life, but Emo trusted his three-birth chant. It could even derive God-grade cultivation method, plus he was a mortal king now. Emo went slower and slower, and at the end of the 11th month, Emo stopped. Emo said heavily, we should be here. When I step out, our minds will be disconnected. You need to step out immediately with me.
Yes.
The two agreed. If this tower was really a world with laws, then leaving it was going from one realm to another. Emo derived the best time and path. The two can't waste one moment, or they might be torn apart by space disposition or fall into the endless void. After about 10 seconds, Emo suddenly said go. Then, Emo stepped out. The two followed immediately. At the same time, the three landed in a space shrouded in mist. Dingjia and Yi felt relieved. At the same time, the three landed in a space shrouded in mist. Dingjia and Yi felt relieved. The next moment, They saw the huge peak of a tower that stretched down forever. We're at the top of the tower? Dingjia looked at this in a daze. That's right. This is the top of the tower. Yemo felt the world law and knew they weren't inside anymore. What is this? Zhantai pointed at the mist. Yemo said, if I'm not wrong, below the mist is the Immortal King Tablet. Doesn't that mean we reached the highest place of the Immortal King Tablet and will be named the most powerful Immortal Kings? Dingjia said in extreme shock. Yemo answered, not necessarily. Walking out of the tower meant that we have surpassed the world laws inside the tower. I'm not certain if the Immortal King Tablet can even name us. Even if it can't, I don't mind. I believe that the benefits I've received are far beyond king naming. Zhantai said. Let me try first. I'm going to get named now, Dingjia said, and was going to jump down into the mist. However, he landed on the mist and couldn't go down. Before Dingjia said anything, 6 faint golden words suddenly appeared on the Immortal King Tablet. North Time, Immortal King Dingjia. Then, there were immortal music surrounding the three, as though congratulating North Time Immortal King. Oh, so I'm North Time Immortal King. I didn't need to write my name and the Immortal King title came out. I'm much stronger than ordinary Immortal Kings indeed. Ha ha ha. Dingjia laughed. Yemo was very shocked too. He didn't expect king naming would be like this. The golden words floated above the tablet, meaning that people probably couldn't see these words from the Immortal King Tablet square. Zhantai's heart was on fire. She charged into the mist and said, Jofan Immortal Pawn Zhantai is here for king naming. Another round of immortal music sounded, and then a few seconds later, faint golden words hung above the mist, Heaven Moon Immortal King Zhantai. Both of them were very happy with their Immortal King name. Remembering that Yemo hadn't been named yet, so Dingjia said, Yemo, come get named too. I really want to see what name someone like you would get. Yemo really wanted to know what his name would be. He jumped on the mist. Yemo landed on the tablet, and before he even spoke, there were rumbling sounds everywhere that didn't stop at all. What's going on? The two looked around. They saw nothing, but the rumbling sound was getting louder. There was no immortal music nor golden words. Just when Yemo wanted to say, Yemo is here for king naming, there was a few huge cracking sounds. Tens of golden lightning circulated around here. This didn't seem right. His divine damnation wasn't right. Yemo wondered if this king naming wouldn't be right as well. At this moment, 4 rows of golden words appeared. The three looked at these words with extreme shock. God realm disappeared. Stars are gone. Chaos opens again. World order reestablished. Stars aligned. Yin-yang separated. 3 birth immortality. Name is eternity. Above these 4 rows were 5 even larger golden words. Eternity Immortal King Yemo, Dingjia, and Yi's names were written vertically, but Eternity Immortal King Yemo was written horizontally. Looking at this, Dingjia and Zhantai were placed on the sides of Yemo. Such powerful name. Yemo, your title is Eternity. Dingjia applauded and suddenly said, Yemo, do you think that disappeared realm needs to be saved us, so we stand on top of everyone for king naming? Yemo knew Dingjia was very happy, and thus made this joke, so he didn't take it seriously. He didn't expect his title was Eternity. This meant existing forever. But Yemo didn't lose his mind with this Immortal King name. Dingjia and had immortal music when they were named, but his naming was filled with lightning. How do we go back now? Dingjia asked. Yemo calmed down. He didn't know how to get back, but it wasn't as simple as jumping down. I think we will go back automatically when the tower opens, Zhantai said. Yemo and Dingjia nodded. They just needed to wait for the tower to open now. Although Yemo suspected he could go back from here, but he wasn't certain which heaven domain it would be. Plus, he needed to go back and kill Lu Zhengquan. Yemo, are you planning to go back to MOU Immortal Sect after this? If I go back, it would still be at Great Red Heaven. How about I come to you? Dingjia rubbed his hands. He really wanted to cultivate next to Yemo. It would be more beneficial than using Immortal Well. Could only admire Dingjia. She was the saint of Jiufan Immortal Pond. Clearly, she can't go to a low heaven domain sect to cultivate. Yemo said, I still have some personal business to deal with. After this is done, I'm going to Chaos Star Realm. This time I saw more than 10 people from the Grand Heaven Domain reach Immortal King there. I want to go see if there's something good there. Okay, wait for me to go with you. That Heaven Lord is no match for you at all. Ding Jia clapped his hands. Zhang Tai hesitated and looked at Ding Jia. I'll go Chaos Star Realm at all. Why don't we go find Brother Yi at MOU Immortal Sect together? Zhang Tai respected and trusted Yi-Mo to the bones. She knew Yi-Mo was the strongest Immortal King in the Immortal Realm for sure. Okay, after I annihilate Lu Jingquan, I'll wait for you at MOU Immortal Sect, but if some accident occurs, I can't guarantee anything, Yi-Mo said. Ding Jia laughed. I can annihilate Lu Jingquan without using any god art. Yi-Mo said, don't underestimate that Lu Jingquan. He might not be as talented as you, but he's definitely not that much weaker than you. When he fought with me, he definitely hid his power. As for how much, I couldn't tell. Oh, there's such an interesting guy. Ding Jia immediately changed his perceptions of Lu Jingquan. He trusted Yi-Mo's eyes. Yi-Mo looked at Zhang Tai and asked, I want to ask about someone. Do you know Goddess Yu Jinxiang? Zhang Tai looked at Yi-Mo in shock. Of course I know Elder Yu Jinxiang, but she had left the sect for tens of thousands of years. I don't know where she went. Brother Yi, how do you know Elder Yu Jinxiang? Yi-Mo thought of the golden skeleton in the Chaos Star Realm, so he could only answer, I heard someone talk about her, and you happen to be from the same sect as her, so I just asked casually. Zhang Tai was confused, but she didn't care. She hadn't seen Goddess Yu Jinxiang. She was a fabled sect Qian Bei. There was still a few days before the tower opened, so the three began discussing cultivation experience, and each benefited from each other. Time flew by quickly. This day, the mist suddenly cracked open. The tower is about to close. Everyone is going to be teleported out. We might be going back to our own Immortal King tablet squares. Yi-Mo immediately said, Okay, wait for me to come find you, Ding Jia said, and then disappeared with Yi in a crack. Yi-Mo fell from another crack at the same time. When Yi-Mo landed, he was standing at the Imo Heaven Immortal King tablet square. At this moment, all the immortal kings inside the tower had been teleported out to the square. No one noticed where Yi-Mo came from. These immortal kings who just came out would be thinking about what titles they got. At this moment, all the immortal kings inside the tower had been teleported out to the square. No one noticed where Yi-Mo came from. These immortal kings who just came out would be thinking about what titles they got. Yi-Mo landed in Dynasty Ding Jia and Yi. As soon as Yi-Mo appeared here, a spirit sense locked onto him. The ice-cold killing intent made everyone realize that Heaven Lord Lu Jingquan has enmity with sect leader of MOU Immortal Sect. Some immortal kings moved aside to prevent from being caught in the crossfire. Everyone on the square knew that they weren't a match for either one of these two. Lu Jingquan was thinking about subjugating Yi-Mo before he got named. Yi-Mo's power might rise even more after king naming. Yi-Mo thought the same, but just when he wanted to charge at Lu Jingquan, he stopped. He felt an extremely powerful spirit sense lock on him. This was his first time encountering such powerful and intense spirit sense. In that instant, Yi-Mo saw an extremely skinny-faced man walk towards him. It was an immortal monarch. Yi-Mo looked at this man and knew it was an immortal monarch primary stage. Yi-Mo didn't where this immortal monarch came from, but his intense killing intent stopped Yi-Mo. Lu Jingquan felt the powerful pressure of this spirit sense. As he was the closest to Yi-Mo, Lu Jingquan couldn't tell this person was immortal monarch power. He could only tell that this skinny man was much stronger than him. Just when he wanted to talk to that essence spirit and ask about this skinny man's power, the essence spirit sounded, this person is an immortal monarch primary stage. Don't talk to me anymore. Otherwise, he might notice. Hearing this, Lu Jingquan's heart shook. He could only watch that immortal monarch walk towards him, and Yi-Mo, Lu Jingquan greet master. Lu Jingquan bowed. The immortal monarch frowned and said, You're the Lu Jingquan that got your Heaven Lord estate wiped out? Lu Jingquan answered, Yes, it's me. Such an useless guy. The idiots of Heaven Lord Alliance actually chose a useless Heaven Lord like you. I'm Chong Tian. Lu Jingquan was annoyed thinking, so what if this guy was a mortal monarch? He was going to become one too sooner or later. But when the man said the last sentence, He realized this person was Heaven Lord Alliance Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch. Lu Jingquan bowed. Lu Jingquan greet Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch Master. Wan Bei wasn't at Fenggang Immortal City, and thus let this guy take advantage of me. Today, I'm here to bring this person to Fenggang Immortal City Heaven Lord Estate to punish him. Yi Mo heard this on the side and realized this Immortal Monarch was from the Heaven Lord Alliance. He heard there was 2 Immortal Monarchs from the Heaven Lord Alliance. Chang Tian Immortal Monarch nodded. In that case, attack now. I'll watch. Lu Jingquan breathed easy. As long as Chang Tian Immortal Monarch didn't take away Yi Mo, things would be good. Lu Jingquan thanked and released a long sword. At first, it seemed like an ordinary immortal artifact, but when Yi Mo's spirit sense scanned it, he immediately felt his spirit sense scan some clear water. Above the clear water was 7 specks of starlight. 7-star sword? Yi Mo didn't expect 7-star sword was in Lu Jingquan's hands. It wasn't a god artifact, but was a top-level immortal artifact that was on par with any low-grade god artifact. It was one of the most famous immortal swords in the immortal realm. How did Lu Jingquan dare to take this out? Was he not afraid of the immortal monarch wanting it? That immortal monarch murmured in shock. Before the sword was even released, Yi Mo felt the square go cold. Those immortal kings who still hadn't written their names stopped doing so. They all wanted to see who would be killed. Yi Mo thought and realized what was going on. Lu Jingquan released this sword clearly to kill him, and then give the sword to Chang Tian Immortal Monarch. That way, even if Lu Jingquan takes him away, Chang Tian Immortal Monarch wouldn't be able to say anything. This bastard was indeed full of calculations. But Yi Mo wasn't going to let him have it his way. He just sound transmission to that Immortal Monarch. Chang Tian Immortal Monarch. You know why Lu Jingquan wants to kill me? Do you think it's because I weeped out his Heaven Lord estate? Not at all. It's because Lu Jingquan knows I have Chaos Tree Sapling. What? Chang Tian Immortal Monarch exclaimed, forgetting to even use sound transmission. His body was shaking with excitement, and he reached up to Yi Mo, grabbing at him. Yi Mo was prepared, and the instant the Immortal Monarch attacked, he broke free from the Immortal Monarch domain and sound transmissioned. If you dare to attack one more time, I will immediately yell out I have Chaos Tree. Chang Tian Immortal Monarch paused and didn't dare to reach for Yi Mo anymore. If Yi Mo spilled things, could he kill everyone here? Clearly not. There were so many immortal kings here, some from Grand Heaven Domain. If he killed them all, where would he hide? Just when Lu Jingquan wanted to talk, Chang Tian Immortal Monarch waved to Lu Jingquan. You have no business here. You can stay on the side. Chang Tian Immortal Monarch was going to tell Lu Jingquan to leave, but thinking about the Chaos Tree, he changed his mind. Lu Jingquan knew about this. How could he let this person go? He had to take him away later too. Just when Lu Jingquan was dazing, Yi Mo sound transmission Lu Jingquan. This Chang Tian Immortal Monarch might have sensed the Chaos Tree Chi on me. If you want to protect it, then help me kill Chang Tian. Hearing this, Lu Jingquan immediately realized he came to the right person. Yi Mo really had Chaos Tree. Even though he knew his guess was 90% correct, he was still shaking with excitement after Yi Mo admitted it. Yi Mo had Chaos Tree, but he didn't have any Chaos Tree spilling out. This guy definitely told Chang Tian on purpose. Lu Jingquan also guessed that Yi Mo also had Chaos World, Time Formation Disc. Since he could get Truth Divine Emperor's heritage, nothing would seem strange. This thought flashed in Lu Jingquan's head, and before he could make a decision, he saw Yi Mo use an instant transmission and disappeared. Just when Chang Tian Immortal Monarch was thinking of a proper excuse to take Lu Jingquan and Yi Mo away, Yi Mo ran off himself. This was perfect for him. He chased up without hesitation. He didn't even use his full power as he wanted to give Yi Mo time to run. Seeing this, Lu Jingquan chased up without hesitation. Chang Tian Immortal Monarch hoped Lu Jingquan would follow, and now Lu Jingquan seemed to have obediently come. Yi Mo knew that even if he ran at full power, he couldn't get away from their trackings. But even if he could, he wouldn't. Chang Tian Immortal Monarch and Lu Jingquan wanted to kill him, but so did he. Running away wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was to kill Lu Jingquan and Chang Tian Immortal Monarch. There was no other way to kill Chang Tian Immortal Monarch other than joining up with Lu Jingquan. Yemo was confident, but he knew he couldn't kill an immortal monarch alone right now. As the three chased, they gradually went further and further away from King Naming City. If Yemo fled towards an immortal city or a place with many people, Changtian Immortal Monarch might have attacked already, but Yemo was running near the border of Imoi Heaven Domain. This was perfect for Changtian Immortal Monarch. He would go to the border and kill Yemo and Lu Zhengquan. Changtian Immortal Monarch knew this place was the best place to attack. Just when he wanted to speed up and kill Yemo first, and then wait for Lu Zhengquan to come and kill him too, he found that Yemo suddenly sped up. Changtian Immortal Monarch knew this place was the best place to attack. Just when he wanted to speed up and kill Yemo first, and then wait for Lu Zhengquan to come and kill him too, he found that Yemo suddenly sped up. Low-grade Flying God Artifact? Changtian Immortal Monarch was even more excited than hearing about the Chaos Tree. After all, Yemo just claimed he had the Chaos Tree. There was no way of proving it until he caught Yemo. Who knows if it's just a way Yemo was using to run away. But this low-grade god artifact appeared before his eyes. Even an immortal emperor would want that greatly. But soon, he noticed something wrong. When Yemo changed Flying Magic Artifact, he went faster and faster and instantly drew up the distance between the two. Changtian Immortal Monarch sped up his extreme-grade Flying Immortal Artifact and flew at Yemo as fast as he could. He was afraid if Yemo went into the void, he would really lose this low-grade Flying God Artifact. After these few days of observation, Yemo was certain that Lu Zhengquan wouldn't lose to Changtian Immortal Monarch in speed. Indeed, Changtian Immortal Monarch sped up and Lu Zhengquan changed a Flying Magic Artifact and sped up too. Changtian Immortal Monarch noticed Lu Zhengquan using a Flying Immortal Artifact faster than his, but he didn't doubt Yemo's words now. If Yemo didn't have Chaos Tree, Lu Zhengquan definitely wouldn't chase all the way here without using max speed. Knowing that Yemo had so many secrets, Changtian Immortal Monarch calmed down instead. The most important thing was that he had to kill these two. A day later, Yemo saw the border of Imoi Heaven. Seeing Yemo easily find the weakest place of the Chaos Void flow and charge in, Changtian Immortal Monarch breathed easy instead. He believed with Yemo's experience, he definitely has been in the void for a long time. Yemo came to the void probably to use it to escape. 10 seconds after Yemo went into the void, Changtian Immortal Monarch and Lu Zhengquan followed in as well. Although the two were getting closer and closer to Yemo, they wouldn't be able to catch up quickly. At the third day, Yemo stopped. Changtian Immortal Monarch was already a bit desperate. Even though Yemo used a low-grade god artifact, Yemo was only a mortal king. He didn't understand how an immortal monarch couldn't catch up to him. Seeing Yemo stop, how could he hesitate? He immediately sealed off Yemo's exit. At the same time, Lu Zhengquan came nearby. Changtian Master, Wan Bei will seal off this person's escape route. He has a low-grade god artifact. If he keeps running, it would be really hard to catch up to him. Wan Bei's 7-star sword isn't as good as his low-grade god artifact, but I can give it to Master as gratitude after Master kills this bastard. How could Lu Zhengquan not know Changtian Immortal Monarch was suspicious of him? But regardless, he would at least let Changtian Immortal Monarch know he respected him. This would make Changtian Immortal Monarch underestimate him. Yemo hacked out with Zisu. This was his half-god art, Rainbow. Yemo didn't use full power this time as well. He only used 80% power. He believed Lu Zhengquan would use this opportunity to attack Changtian Immortal Monarch. So Yemo didn't even signal Lu Zhengquan at all. Since Lu Zhengquan dared to chase him into the void, Yemo wasn't confident in saying he could Lu Zhengquan for certain. Lu Zhengquan definitely had secrets. Otherwise, how could Lu Zhengquan not know that Changtian Immortal Monarch would be killing him next? Seeing this rainbow, Lu Zhengquan immediately knew that Yemo hid his power at the title status tower and not just a bit. But Lu Zhengquan knew that even if Yemo used full power, it wasn't enough for Changtian Immortal Monarch. He was far from it. Lu Zhengquan used 7-star sword and smashed at Yemo. Yemo ignored this. He could tell that Lu Zhengquan's strike only used half of his power at the tower. He could tell that Lu Zhengquan was definitely going to ambush Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch. They were in a delicate balance now. How to make him benefit the most was the most important. Seeing Lu Zhengquan attack Yimo, Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, was surprised. He thought Lu Zhengquan would be watching on the side. In that instant, Yimo's rainbow arrived. The heavenly covering purple sword rays surrounded one large 10 km long purple sword ray and flew over. Although Yimo didn't use crevice, the crevice hacked out by the sword formed a faint mark in the void. The nearby void lethal force was swept into this crevice by the strike. Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, was shocked too. Yimo's lethal force was far stronger than ordinary Immortal Kings. Lu Zhengquan's 7-star sword was stronger than ordinary Immortal Kings, but far from as strong as Yimo. The next moment, Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, released a huge seal. This seal was pitch black and turned into a huge seal that had 100 kilometers radius and smashed above Yimo's head. The void above Yimo's head was instantly under the control of Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch's domain. Even Zhisu became slower. Rumble. The huge black seal hacked onto Zhisu, and the heaven-covering purple sword rays instantly disappeared. The void lethal force also withered away. Yimo was full of shock. Clearly, if he couldn't break free of this domain in a second, even if he didn't die, his body would crumble. Even an Immortal Monarch wouldn't be able to take such a seal. Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, sneered and reached out an Immortal Essence giant hand wanting to take Yimo's body away. But as soon as his giant hand formed, his face changed. Before he could take back his Immortal Essence and Spirit Sense, a white light with 7 stars hacked towards him. Lu Zhengquan, how dare you attack me? This time, the 7-star sword formed 7-star lights with some formation waves inside it. The 7-star sword Lu Zhengquan used before was a fake. This was the real one. Even so, Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, didn't consider it a threat. He was more furious that Lu Zhengquan dared to attack him. Moments later, Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch's face changed. He felt his Immortal King domain cracked open instantly. Immortal Monarch domain. Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, called out in shock and tried to take back his seal to fight off Lu Zhengquan. Despite this, Yimo was swept by the huge seal and flew back out, spitting many mouthful of blood in the air. There was the sound of flesh being pierced. Splurge, splurge. 7 blood arrows flew out. Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch's heart was pierced. Lu Zhengquan, you sly bastard. Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, roared, and the huge seal fell down again with his Immortal Monarch domain. Rumble. Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, was covered in blood, but acted like an enraged bull. Lu Zhengquan saw that Yimo didn't use this opportunity to run and instead sat on his flying magic artifact to recover and breathed easy. Of course Yimo wasn't going to run. He could tell that the terrifying domain Lu Zhengquan used before wasn't his. He was also shocked. If Lu Zhengquan suddenly used this terrifying domain during a battle with him, he might be instantly killed. Although Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, was heavily injured, he attacked with full power so clearly he won't stop if he didn't kill Lu Zhengquan. Although Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch, was heavily injured, he attacked with full power so clearly he won't stop if he didn't kill Lu Zhengquan. While the seal smashed at Lu Zhengquan brought out 7-star light runes towards the seal. Although the two haven't clashed yet, the powerful Immortal Essence wave was like the ravaging waves of the ocean. The Great Seal covered all the nearby void, and Lu Zhengquan had nowhere to hide. The only thing he could do was clash head-on with it. Yimo was recovering on the side, but in fact he didn't get very serious injuries. He saw clearly that Lu Zhengquan didn't attack alone. There seemed to be an essence spirit body on him. That essence spirit sense is very powerful and can use spirit sense to stop Chang Tian, Immortal Monarch's domain. Rumble. Cracks sounded all throughout this void. The space ripples spread out in the void. When the first wave of 7-star sword light smashed the seal immediately slowed down and even shrank down a lot. Lu Zhengquan's face was also much more pale. Before the first wave disappeared, the 7-star sword created another wave of 7-star sword light, smashing at the seal. The rumbling sound grew more intense. The splashing out immortal essence clashed with the seven-star sword light, giving a vibrant display of colors in the void. After using the sword rays 3 times, the seven-star sword finally slowed down. At the same time, Lu Zhengquan spat multiple mouthful of blood. How could Chang Tian, immortal monarch, not know that Lu Zhengquan hid his power too? He grunted and released a red axe. Yimo was shocked. He didn't expect Lu Zhengquan was this powerful. Even though he had an essence spirit helping him attack, Lu Zhengquan's means were beyond strong. Of course, Yimo didn't know that Lu Zhengquan had his hardships. Not only did he need that essence spirit to help him stop the immortal monarch domain, but he even needed the spirit sense of the essence spirit body to help him use the seven-star sword. This was completely the opposite of what Lu Zhengquan wanted. Although the essence spirit was under his control, and he usually respected him a lot, he had never thought of completely opening up his sea of consciousness to him. That way, if the essence spirit attacked him, he would be gone. However, he had no choice now. His ambush didn't break Chang Tian, immortal monarch's Dan Tian. According to his calculations, his sneak attack would almost certainly break Chang Tian, immortal monarch's Dan Tian. But in fact, he only made Chang Tian, immortal monarch, lose half his battle power. Luckily, that essence spirit had no intentions of attacking him and helped him defend against Chang Tian, immortal monarch's attacks with full power. Although Lu Zhengquan could barely stop the attacks with the essence spirit, his immortal essence was a far cry from Chang Tian, immortal monarch. He could only keep using starlight from the sword to reduce the immortal essence pressure. Even so, he spat a few mouthfuls of essence blood. Yimo was recovering on the side. He wouldn't expect Yimo to help him. Chang Tian, immortal monarch's huge red axe was almost going to hack apart this void. If he didn't think of a way quickly, even if he stopped the seal, he would be hacked in half by the axe. Immortal monarch wasn't something immortal kings could compare with indeed. Lu Zhengquan thought and burned his essence blood and immortal essence. He even started burning his spirit sense. He even burned the spirit sense that didn't belong to him. The seven-star sword emitted even brighter radiance. The sword shot out 7-star light sword rays which split apart into 7 each again. This kept going, and instantly, there were hundreds of sword rays. These few hundred sword rays seemed to have fell from the void and rapidly clashed with the seal. Rumble. The seal finally couldn't block the sword rays anymore and was smashed away. However, the sword ray didn't weaken at all and kept smashing at the huge axe. The red axe was powerful but wasn't released by Chang Tian, immortal monarch, at full power. After being charged by the sword rays, it dimmed down. More than half of the few hundred sword rays were also gone. The remaining weakened sword ray pierced apart Chang Tian, immortal monarch's body. A wave of weakness struck him. Even though Chang Tian, immortal monarch, knew Lu Zhengquan was extremely weak as well, but he didn't dare to stay. Lu Zhengquan was fine, but that essence spirit next to him was too terrifying. If he didn't go, he would have to stay here forever. Without hesitation, Chang Tian, immortal monarch, disappeared past Lu Zhengquan in a dashing light. There was nothing Lu Zhengquan could do, and could only watch as Chang Tian, immortal monarch, got away. Seeing Chang Tian, immortal monarch, run away and in his direction, how could Yimo not know this guy wanted to take him with him? He suddenly got up and punched out. Fist Goddard, void. Chang Tian, immortal monarch, was heavily injured Lu Zhengquan, and now seeing that a mere immortal king primary stage dared to resist, Chang Tian, immortal monarch, was furious. He had seen Yimo attack, but even if this punch was as powerful as that strike, so what? Even though he was heavily injured, he wouldn't care about a small immortal king primary stage. Without hesitation, he reached out his immortal monarch domain and grabbed at Yimo's punch. Buzz, buzz. The void suddenly rippled, and at this moment, endless lethal force seemed to have gathered from the void, forming a lethal force whirlpool. It grew larger and stronger. Crack, crack. Chang Tian, immortal monarch, just released his immortal monarch domain, was completely shattered. He found in shock that an immortal king domain was not much weaker than his weakened immortal monarch domain. He also discovered in shock that Yimo had spirit sense domain. But these weren't important. What was important was that this punch swept up the terrifying, destructive, lethal force of the void. This punch was more than many times stronger than that rainbow strike. Such a sly thing. You dare to hide your power. Chang Tian, immortal monarch, roared in fury. He was tricked by Lu Zhengquan, and now this Yimo. More terrifyingly, both of these guys were top-level immortal kings. This MOU sect leader was no weaker than Immortal King peak stage. If Lu Zhengquan didn't have the help of the essence spirit, even he was no match for this person. Chang Tian, immortal monarch, knew that now. The strongest was this injured Immortal King primary stage, but he chose the strongest one to attack. Regardless, Chang Tian, immortal monarch, knew he had to block this punch. Rumble. Chang Tian, immortal monarch's arm was turned into nothing by this punch. The next moment, Chang Tian, immortal monarch's body crippled in this punch and blood splashed everywhere. I hate you. Chang Tian, immortal monarch, spat, and then even his essence spirit was annihilated. After killing Chang Tian, immortal monarch, Yimo picked up his storage ring. After killing Chang Tian, immortal monarch, Yimo picked up his storage ring. Lu Zhengquan didn't run nor leave. He just ate a few pills and looked at Yimo with a bad face. It was like Chang Tian, immortal monarch, gave his storage ring to Yimo. Yimo killed Chang Tian, immortal monarch, too fast. It seems I need to give this Junzi immortal king title to you. You're the real Junzi? Lu Zhengquan sneered. Yimo sneered, Lu Zhengquan, I don't dare to take your Junzi immortal king. I'm calculative to enemies, but not friends. Meanwhile, you're probably very Junzi to both friends and enemies, right? Sect leader Luo, you know it's impossible to kill me. I'll admit defeat today. We'll end this here. You go your path, I'll go mine. Lu Zhengquan said slowly. There wasn't any killing intent on him at all. Yimo clapped his hand and said, okay, we'll agree to that. Crack. As Yimo's voice sounded, Zisu clashed with 7-star sword. Clearly the two thought the same thing and were going to ambush each other. In order to attack quickly, both of them didn't use God art. The two swords clashed together in the void, creating waves of immortal essence ripple. It seems this Junzi title is indeed mine. Lu Zhengquan sneered again. I never wanted your Junzi immortal king title, Yimo said, and then used rainbow again. However, unlike when he attacked Chang Tian, immortal monarch, he used full power this time. Seeing this, Lu Zhengquan used 7-star sword again, but this time, he had 7 of them. Yimo didn't expect that Lu Zhengquan still had tricks up his sleeve. Only one was real, the rest were fakes. Humph. You only used 40% power when you fought with me in the tower and facing an immortal monarch. You dare to hide 20% of your strength. You really do need the title Junzi Immortal King. Lu Zhengquan sneered, and the 7-star sword spun, rapidly forming a sword formation. Yimo looked at this sword formation in contempt. How dare this guy play with sword formation in front of him? Yimo didn't even have the will to break this formation. Yimo waved and a huge mountain fell above Lu Zhengquan's head. It was no smaller than the seal Chang Tian Immortal Monarch used. This mountain gave Lu Zhengquan an extremely strange feeling. It seemed to have crossed the void and fell down, but there was no tracks of it. The essence spirit next to Lu Zhengquan couldn't resist spurting. Space Law God Art? Hearing this, Lu Zhengquan didn't dare to be careless at all. He immediately used the 7-star sword formation to smash at World Rock. In the spur of the moment, he could only release an ordinary defense immortal artifact to block this rainbow. Dense clashing sounds occurred. Lu Zhengquan's defense immortal artifact was immediately cut into pieces. Rainbow sword rays shrunk and formed a purple beam, smashing at Lu Zhengquan. At this instant, a powerful domain appeared, instantly stopping Yimo's rainbow. Lu Zhengquan retreated crazily, but the beam still drew a long mark on his chest. While blood splurged out, the sword formation was smashed in the door by the World Rock. Crack, 6 swords shattered. Only the real one remained but was falling down wobbly. Lu Zhengquan forcefully took it back. How could Lu Zhengquan not know he was no match for Yimo at all? Even if he was at his peak, he would need the essence spirit to help in beating Yimo. Lu Zhengquan wanted to run. But how could Yimo let Lu Zhengquan run? Countless lightning blasted in the void. Lightning sand instantly formed a huge black lightning spear with some gold color. The spear fell down, and the nearby void was instantly locked by the lightning spear. Kaimi Qianbei, please help me. This huge golden lightning spear filled Lu Jingquan's heart with despair. He really couldn't understand how a mere immortal king primary stage was this powerful. Give me your body, otherwise, I can't stop him too. The essence spirit said heavily. Lu Jingquan didn't expect Yimo was this powerful. Even an immortal king might not be a match for Yimo. He was suppressed by a cultivator who only ascended for a few decades. Seeing that the seven-star sword was about to clash with lightning spear, Lu Jingquan knew that if he didn't make a decision, his essence spirit would be destroyed too. Thus, he could only let open his mind and let the essence spirit control his sea of consciousness and body. Rumble. The lightning spear hacked the seven-star sword, and an explosion sounded. The sword flew out instantly. The lightning sword just eased and smashed at Lu Jingquan again. The terrifying force swept past the entire void, causing ripples. This entire region of the void was under the force of the spear. Splurge. Blood and flesh flew. Half of Lu Jingquan's body exploded from the lightning spear. The spear pierced his body and went into the void. Yimo's eyes narrowed. He knew the power of lightning sand. It definitely wouldn't just tear open half the body and disappear into the void. The body would definitely explode after being pierced, but Lu Jingquan only lost half his body. This wasn't normal. Kaimi, you old bastard. Lu Jingquan's furious voice sounded. Yimo was shook. The next moment, he saw extremely hollow figure seep out. It was Lu Jingquan's essence spirit, but it was incomplete too, probably due to the lightning spear. However, the half-bodied Lu Jingquan grabbed the figure and sent it into his mouth. Eating his own essence spirit? Yimo dazed for a moment and realized that Lu Jingquan was possessed. A guy who could devour essence spirit was not ordinary. A guy like Lu Jingquan deserved such predicament. Yimo sneered. Instantly, the damaged body of Lu Jingquan recovered. Kid, Lu Jingquan is dead. The conflict between you is over. We don't have any conflicts. We'll go our own paths. A coarse voice sounded from Lu Jingquan's mouth. Yimo knew that Lu Jingquan was really possessed. Yimo sneered. He'd be an idiot to believe this guy would let it go. This guy could dodge lightning sand and make it unable to release its full power. He even used the lightning spear to weaken Lu Jingquan. His calculations and power was stronger than both him and Lu Jingquan. Yimo said nothing and released World Rock while hacking out. This person gave him much greater danger than Lu Jingquan. If he didn't kill this guy while he was weak, it would be too later when this guy recovered. Seeing Yimo dared to attack him, Kaimi sneered but wasn't scared. He punched at the World Rock and released a blood spear. The spear formed blood rivers in the void. The putrid smell of blood was revolting. If Lu Jingquan was still alive, he would see that amicable-looking Kaimi Qianbei was like a demon king now. The blood river charged at Yimo Zisu fell down. Thud. A heavy thud sounded, and the blood river was torn apart by Zisu. What god art is this? Kaimi yelled in shock. I'll let you try my crevice strike. Yimo's force was even more dominant after breaking the blood river. The crevice swept the lethal force in the void and was slicing towards Kaimi's forehead. Thud. Kaimi's fist smashed with the world rock, and in that instant, the fist cracked apart like a turtle shell, and then in another crack, the entire fist disappeared. Thud. Kaimi's fist smashed with the world rock, and in that instant, the fist cracked apart like a turtle shell, and then in another crack, the entire fist disappeared. After the blood river was hacked apart, Yimo Zisu still kept sweeping in lethal force like crazy. At this moment, Kaimi knew he couldn't fight Yimo head-on. It's not that he couldn't beat Yimo, but that he didn't have full control of the body. When Kaimi saw his forehead slowly crack open under this strike, he didn't want to fight with Yimo anymore. The spear flew back and the blood river rushed into Zisu. Zisu didn't slow down at all. Space itself in the void was drawn over by Zisu. If Kaimi's blood river was like a waterfall in the sky, Yimo Zisu was like an endless black hole devouring the entire blood river. The blood river dissipated, but after that Kaimi was gone. Yimo immediately stretched out his spirit sense domain. 1 second later, Yimo caught a sliver of immortal essence wave in the void. Kaimi could use Lu Zhengquan's body and immortal essence, and his spirit sense was this powerful. He was definitely no weaker than Yin Zhoutian. However, they used different methods of possession. Yin Zhoutian wanted to cultivate back to Tao Vindication Divine Emperor slowly himself. This type of possession was not much different to rebirth. Yet Kaimi could even use Lu Zhengquan's immortal essence. This meant that he used to be a divine emperor. This person knew all the secrets of Lu Zhengquan and definitely knew about the Chaos Tree. Kaimi was weak now. How could Yimo let him go? When he found the immortal essence of Kaimi leaving, he immediately chased up. Kaimi indeed could use Lu Zhengquan's immortal essence. Other than due to his powerful spirit sense, another main reason was that he knew Lu Zhengquan's immortal essence and sea of consciousness too well. He was studying Lu Zhengquan's immortal essence and sea of consciousness constantly. Kaimi knew that Yimo had a low-grade flying god artifact, but he wasn't worried. He believed that Yimo wouldn't even know when he left. But soon, Kaimi realized that was impossible. The weak space ripples of when he left didn't trick this immortal king primary stage. Yimo chased up and was getting closer and closer. Now, Kaimi was really beginning to worry. If he had 1 year, he wouldn't be afraid of Yimo at all, but now Yimo didn't even give him 15 minutes. He chased him closely. No matter what stealth cultivation method or mobility technique he used, Yimo would soon be able to find him and chase up. He didn't have any high-level mobility rune. As the two chased, they went further and further in the void. Kaimi was experienced. He could slowly fuse into the body while running. Meanwhile, Yimo's low-grade god artifact was very fast and thus followed him closely. Kaimi was annoyed. He didn't understand how this immortal king was this ferocious. There was no way Yimo could track him this closely without a powerful spirit sense domain. Powerful spirit sense domains required a powerful spirit sense cultivation method. Only those ancient powerful beings could use it. He didn't understand where Yimo got it. If he didn't have a blood spear, he wouldn't be able to get away from Yimo's low-grade god artifact. Yimo was depressed too. He could clearly chase up to Kaimi, but after a month he didn't even know where he was, and he still didn't catch Kaimi. Low-grade god artifact had a steady speed, but it was hard to accelerate. He didn't dare not to use it, or he wouldn't be able to keep up. Another 2 months had passed. The two's distance didn't close nor get further. If Kaimi didn't keep changing directions and stealthing, Yimo even wanted to tell small ginseng to control the space-time boat. Kaimi was annoyed at first, but after a few months, he settled instead. He started to fuse his body and immortal essence even faster as he ran away. If he just used mobility technique once in a while and suddenly changed direction, he wouldn't be caught up. But sometimes when he thought about how he was a divine emperor, and yet he was getting chased like a dog, Kaimi was furious. The king naming had finished. Every immortal king got their own title. At the Immortal King Tablet Square, there was news that Yu Hung Heaven Lord hunted an immortal king with an immortal monarch. It said the three went into the void, but they all went missing in the void. It was nothing new that someone went missing, but it was no simple thing if one of them was an immortal monarch. An immortal monarch hunting an immortal king went missing. This was unbelievable. Of course, it was possible that the immortal monarch was just busy and so didn't come back. Only the Heaven Lord Alliance immortal kings knew that Chang Tian immortal monarch wasn't busy. Even if he was, it would be at Extreme Wind Heaven. Chang Tian immortal monarch should be coming back to Extreme Wind Heaven as soon as he killed that sect leader Luo. But neither Chang Tian nor Lu Zhengquan came back. After the two went missing, the Heaven Lord Alliance didn't hold another meeting. As for the new Heaven Lord of Yu Hung Heaven, it was put on hold. No one mentioned this. As for Mo Yu Immortal Sect and Mo Yu Immortal City, no one would dare to offend them. Gong Hua Heaven Lord Jiji Immortal King Ming Changshui rejoiced of his decision. Even Chang Tian Immortal Monarch went missing hunting that sect leader Luo. Much less him if he did something against Yimo. After the king naming finished, Lu Feng got Huani Immortal King. Her ranking wasn't low. It was top grade in the low heaven domain. Lu Feng heard it was an immortal monarch hunting him, but there was nothing she could do. She could only stay at Mo Yu Immortal Sect and protect the sect and city. Guillemot had never thought he would chase someone for 5 years, nor did Kaimi expect he would be chased for 5 years. Guillemot had never thought he would chase someone for 5 years, nor did Kaimi expect he would be chased for 5 years. If it was someone else, Guillemot would have long stopped wasting his time, but he couldn't let go of this Kaimi. Kaimi not only knew who he was and knew he had Chaos Tree. If this guy got away and recovered his power, he would have nowhere to go. In 5 years, Guillemot went through countless void fissures with Kaimi and countless void chaos flows, but Kaimi was always fine. Guillemot knew he has the Golden Page world himself at the same time. He also realized that this old bastard must have a sturdy world, even a true spirit world. Kaimi felt so frustrated. He couldn't shake off Guillemot even after crossing void fissure many times. The true spirit world of Lu Zhengquan was originally his. Kaimi used the time while he was running to spirit control it again. Although this truth spirit world was incomplete and even a little damaged, but it was still a world. It didn't affect his control of the world. So when the truth spirit world crossed the void fissure, Kaimi could clearly feel that Guillemot could control his world too. Kaimi had long proved that Guillemot not only had Chaos Tree but Chaos World. Any of these things would shock the entire immortal realm and make countless people go crazy for it. Even Divine Emperor was of no exception. He was very crazy about it now, but he couldn't beat Guillemot. Kaimi just wanted to shake off Guillemot now and quickly recover his power. When he was strong enough, the first thing he would do is go to Imo Immortal Sect and annihilate it, forcing Guillemot out. But now, he felt that if Guillemot chased for one more year, he would fall into Guillemot's hands. That's why he was beginning to worry. Guillemot also knew that his Chaos World was exposed, so he had made up his mind. Even if he had to chase this guy for a few hundred years, he would kill this guy. After these 5 years, Guillemot had calmed down. He didn't ask that he closed up on the guy, but just that he didn't fall behind. He was getting closer and closer to Kaimi. Guillemot believed he would be able to kill Kaimi in a year or two. Although Guillemot didn't cultivate these 5 years, his spirit sense kept getting refined in the void as he had to keep using it to find Kaimi. It was already on par with Immortal Monarch middle stage. These few years, he had completely stabilized his power on the space-time boat and learned more about his god arts. And Guillemot's spirit sense was beyond ordinary Immortal Monarch middle stage spirit sense. As he had to search for Kaimi, he had to keep his spirit sense domain open constantly. His spirit sense has even materialized. Today, Guillemot suddenly felt some waves coming from the Golden Page world. Guillemot knew that Shadowless had woken up. After Guillemot agreed, Shadowless appeared on the space-time boat. Small Ginseng came out too. "You're at Heaven Tao tertiary stage?" Guillemot asked. "Boss, what do you expect? I never waste resources," Shadowless said gloatingly. "One level 9 immortal spirit beast core. Even if a dog ate it, he would become great eternity immortal, and yet you say you never waste resources." Guillemot was speechless. Shadowless was too shameless. Shadowless kept saying, "Boss, I'm not a dog, I'm..." Small Ginseng immediately said, "Big brother, I know you're not a dog, you said it before." Small Ginseng then added, "You're a bug, right? A pea-sized bug. I didn't expect a bug like you could become this big." Hearing this, Shadowless's face sunk. But he didn't dare to teach Small Ginseng a lesson in front of Big Boss. Plus, there was a forbidden ground in the Golden Page world that was around the Chaos Tree. Even in the Golden Page world, if Small Ginseng goes in there would be nothing he could do. He could only say, "It's because I ate Emperor Tao Crystal, and then I mutated to Heaven Tao." "Oh, I thought you only ate a level 9 Immortal Spirit Beast core. There's Emperor Tao Crystal too. These are both Emperor grade things, and you could eat both of them. You're too good." Small Ginseng raised his thumb. How could Shadowless not be able to tell that Small Ginseng was scorning him? Small Ginseng was misbehaving more and more. When he first came to the Golden Page world, Small Ginseng called him Big Brother all the time. But now, he kept scorning him. Big Boss, we're in the void again." Shadowless suddenly realized that they were in the void. Small Ginseng said in contempt, "We've been flying in here for 5 or 6 years. Your information is really timely." Shadowless spread his wings and said, "Boss, I'm the most familiar with Space Itme boat. Let me control it. Just tell me where to go." Where is there no markings on the location disk?" Small ginseng said in contempt, if you could control it, I would be helping control it already. I'm better than you at controlling the ship. Boss is chasing an idiot. That guy knows nothing but running. We've been chasing him for 5 years, but we still haven't caught up. Hearing this, Shadowless reached out his spirit sense and saw Kaimi, who was running away like crazy. Boss, I can chase up to this guy in a short time. Shadowless saw the red spear under Kaimi and said. Hearing this, Yemo thought, Shadowless was different to Small Ginseng. Small Ginseng was fast but had no battle power. Letting Small Ginseng stop Kaimi was like throwing food at a dog. But Shadowless was different. He was Heaven Tao tertiary stage now, so he was on par with Immortal King primary stage. Even though he was no match for Kaimi, he could still stop him. Thinking about this, Yemo got up and said, Small Ginseng, you control the space-time boat. Shadowless, catch that guy immediately. This guy might be a divine emperor-essence spirit. If you catch him, you can eat him. Haha, watch me, boss. Shadowless laughed. But just when he was about to go out, he thought of something and pitifully turned around. Boss, aren't I just going to be food if I go chase a divine emperor? Idiot. Yemo slapped Shadowless's head and said, if this guy still had divine emperor power, would he run away? This guy is only possessing a body. He's at most an immortal king. With this, Shadowless dashed out in a golden line. His burst of speed in a short time was faster than even the space-time boat. At the same time, Yemo released World Rock. Kaimi's power was recovering too slow as Yemo was chasing so closely. When he saw Shadowless dash over in a golden light, he immediately felt things weren't right. Shadowless's huge mouth already bit down on him. Kaimi instantly released the blood spear, smashing blood rivers at Shadowless, but Shadowless opened his mouth fearlessly, wanting to devour the blood river. What is this thing? Kaimi looked at Shadowless in shock. He had been through countless years as a divine emperor, but had never seen such immortal spirit beast. Was this some ancient god beast? Rumble. Shadowless ate a few blood rivers, but the blood river flow was endless. Shadowless was eventually struck and flew out in pain. Seeing this, Yemo knew that Kaimi's power improved by a great deal. Yemo charged out of the space-time boat and hacked with Zissou while smashing World Rock down. With this slice, the nearby space and lethal force gathered. A terrifying purple crevice appeared in the void before the strike was completely released. With this slice, the nearby space and lethal force gathered. A terrifying purple crevice appeared in the void before the strike was completely released. Kaimi looked at this with a shiver. Just looking at this, he knew that Yemo's god art improved again since a few years ago. If he took this move with force, his body would cripple again. But Kaimi knew he had to stop it. This move had completely bound the nearby space. He could even feel that Yemo's spirit sense was actually on par with his. Seeing this, Kaimi's heart sunk. He knew there was no other way around it. If he forcefully ran away now, he wouldn't be able to stop Yemo's next move. Then, even his essence spirit would be destroyed. Kaimi was furious. Lu Jingchuan's body was perfect for him, but he just got it, and now it was going to be destroyed. He didn't even know if his essence spirit would be able to escape. Even if there was no one hunting him, it was uncertain if his essence spirit could survive in the void. He released the blood spear, sweeping out hanging blood rivers again. The rumbling sound echoed in the void. Kaimi had been through countless battles. Even if he couldn't stop Yemo's attack, he wouldn't lose the will to battle. Just when the blood rivers were about to smash into the purple sword rays, a black whirlpool appeared a few hundred km away. The entrance was a whirlpool that was spinning to the extreme. Spirit sense would be shredded upon contact. It was so black it was shining. It was like dark ink. Seeing this, Kaimi burned his essence blood and lifespan without hesitation. His face went from middle-aged to extremely frail. But the instant Yemo's crevice fell, Kaimi disappeared. Rumble. The remnant blood river was hacked in half and exploded in the void. Yemo's spirit sense saw Kaimi dashing into that black void. In an instant, Yemo made up his mind. He took Small Ginseng and Shadowless and chased into that whirlpool too. The instant he went in, Yemo went into the golden page world. Inside the golden page world, as soon as Emo reached his spirit sense out, he felt his sea of consciousness rumble. He quickly took back his spirit sense. In some places, it would at most destroy the spirit sense he sent out, but never before had a place affected his sea of consciousness like this. Emo's heart sunk. His determination to kill Kaimi was huge, but in here, he couldn't release his spirit sense at all. How was he to find Kaimi? Boss, did I do something bad? That old guy is so strong. I couldn't eat him in one go. Shadowless said quietly. Emo waved his hand. It has nothing to do with you. This guy is a tough bone. Emo could only helplessly wait and see now. Kaimi scanned his spirit sense out as soon as he went in the whirlpool too. When his spirit sense was destroyed and even his sea of consciousness rumbled, Kaimi was instead happy. He knew that he had finally escaped from Emo. Kaimi breathed easy and started to recover in his truth spirit world. Shadowless's ferocious speed and that powerful mouth still scared him. This was a breed he had never seen before. He could tell that immortal spirit beast was only at child stage. If it matured, it would be terrifying. Kaimi shook his head and cast these thoughts aside, focusing on cultivation. But 2 days later, Kaimi felt things weren't right. His truth spirit world was slowly cracking. Chaos flow swept in. Not good. His truth spirit world was about to crack. Kaimi was instantly anxious. In this place, if the world cracked, he would be crushed to nothing. Suddenly, he heard a crack. Kaimi's heart sunk. He knew his world had crippled. Kaimi then noticed something wasn't right. The nearby black whirlpool was gone. He was safe. He was in a bluish-gray world. The cracked truth spirit world was below his feet. The mountains, rivers, and immortal spirit herb were all just waste now. Just when Kaimi wanted to study where this was, he thought of the whirlpool that swept him in. It was long gone now. There was only a sliver of remaining wave. Kaimi wanted to take the pieces of the truth spirit world again, but suddenly there was another sliver of wave in the bluish-gray space. How could Kaimi not know that this person would probably be Emo? He instantly used his mobility technique to disappear without even picking up his truth spirit pieces. Emo came out of the golden page world. The pile of truth spirit world rubble laid before him. Emo immediately knew that Kaimi came here too, and he got away. What was this place? It was bluish-gray everywhere, looking quite similar to Chaos Star Realm. Emo didn't have time to care about the truth spirit world. His spirit sense scanned out. He was going to find the tracks of Kai. He couldn't let this guy get away. As soon as Emo scanned his spirit sense out, he realized that spirit sense was suppressed here. He then heard a loud roar, and then a 50-meter-tall immortal spirit beast charged over. It had an ape face, and its body was covered in blue fur. It could stand on 2 legs. Emo reached out his immortal king domain. This giant immortal spirit beast just waved its hand and a light crack sounded. At the same time, Emo felt the backlash and his immortal essence coagulated. What was this? Emo released World Rock in his shock. Rumble. The World Rock smashed the arm of the immortal spirit beast, creating this ear-shattering sound. Emo's World Rock flew out a few km, but this tall immortal spirit beast's arm was fine. Emo was shocked. He had never seen such terrifying immortal spirit beast. This immortal spirit beast seemed to have been enraged by Emo. It flung up its arm and slapped over at Emo. The terrifying pressure squeezed this space. Emo was shook. This pressure purely came from this swing. It had no spirit sense pressure nor domain pressure. It was just pure power. Emo burned his immortal essence and instantly broke free, and then used an instant transmission. The immortal spirit beast slapped where Emo was, and immediately, a huge ravine with tens of km radius appeared. Nothing on that area of land remained. Emo was shocked. He didn't dare to keep fighting this thing now. If it wasn't that this beast didn't have spirit sense nor magic, Emo would be no match for it at all. Emo was shocked. He didn't dare to keep fighting this thing now. If it wasn't that this beast didn't have spirit sense nor magic, Emo would be no match for it at all. Seeing Emo retreat, the immortal spirit beast chased over. Its speed was like a comet. Yemo quickly released Space-Time Boat and sped off running. When Yemo started running, he was dumbfounded. In his spirit sense and before him, there were these immortal spirit beasts everywhere. Some were very small, only 6 meters tall, but those big ones were larger than the immortal spirit beast he just fought. Some of them even had wings. How could he run? Yemo's battle with that immortal spirit beast startled the other immortal spirit beast, and they all came charging at Yemo, seeing that he was surrounded by these immortal spirit beasts. Yemo didn't dare to waste time. The space-time boat seemingly instant transmissioned out. As for whether Kaimi was alive or dead, Yemo couldn't care. 10 seconds later, Yemo found that no matter where he went, there were these immortal spirit beasts. Some places had more, some places had less. Yemo found a place with less immortal spirit beast before calling Shadowless and Small Ginseng out. "Which of you know these immortal spirit beasts?" Yemo asked. Shadowless shook his head. Small Ginseng said, "Boss, they are called star beasts. They're neither immortal spirit beast or god beast. They a type of beast living at the border. They only cultivate bodily power and strength, not essence spirit nor spirit sense. They have no god arts or magic, but ordinary god arts can't do anything to their power. When power is at a certain level, no immortal essence nor spirit sense is needed. Just pure power will tear through everything." Yemo nodded. Even his immortal king domain was useless under the pure power of these star beasts. Seeing Yemo agree, Small Ginseng looked at Shadowless gloatingly. "Where star beasts are, it must be the border of a realm domain. Usually, there would be chaos chi here. Star beasts love that. Now, there are very little places with chaos chi, so there's very little star beasts. It's quite strange that there are so many here." Shadowless said awkwardly. "Small Ginseng, your knowledge is quite good." Small Ginseng said happily, "Of course. I also know that star beast cores are called star cores. They're used to make the top-grade body refinement immortal pills." As they spoke, some star beasts saw Yemo and already charged over. Yemo knew that it wasn't too plausible to keep running in a place like this, so he could only fight them. This time, the star beasts were all below 30 meters. Yemo hacked out Zisu. Rainbow. The leading star beast saw this and roared, punching at Zisu. Fist and Zisu's sword ray clashed, creating a huge blast. The ground collapsed. The sword ray left a mark on the beast's body. A blue liquid dripped out. Small Ginseng couldn't fight, so Yemo put him away. Meanwhile, Shadowless charged out. Small Ginseng behaved well just then. If he didn't do well and boss was unhappy, then Small Ginseng might be appointed big brother. Shadowless roared and opened his mouth. A 6-meter-tall star beast was devoured. Yemo was quite surprised with Shadowless's ferocity. The star beast that fought Yemo was furious and roared as it charged at Yemo again. Yemo put away Zisu and flung out lightning. Lightning splashed in the air, whizzing everywhere. Then, in an explosion, the lightning gathered into a bucket-thickness lightning spear. The spear tore through the air and pierced down from the void. Thud. The pressure field turned to nothing under the lightning spear. Rumble. The spear pierced through the star beast's chest but didn't stop there. It penetrated the hard ground and nailed the star beast. The star beast looked dazedly at the spear before falling down. Yemo breathed easy. This thing was too hard to kill. He used 2 god arts to just kill one star beast that wasn't even 50 meter tall. "Woo-woo, this thing tastes bad," Shadowless sounded. With this, countless star beasts charged over. Yemo knew that lightning swords were probably completely useless. Heaven Flame 9 Suns would have quite some trouble, and it was too taxing on immortal essence and spirit sense. So, Yemo just used 4-stack wave kill. Waves of 100-meter-tall lava waves charged over. In the blink of the eye, it was a sea of flames before Yemo and Shadowless. The first wave swooped the countless star beast with terrifying force, but Yemo saw in shock that only some short star beasts were killed by the wave. Most of the star beasts were fine, at most just a bit withered. He just burned their layer of blue fur. Yemo rushed his immortal essence, pushing out the second, third, and fourth wave. The terrifying heat instantly melted this place. Explosions sounded, and after the 4 waves, these few thousand star beasts were either dead or injured. Some smaller star beasts had completely turned to dust while some larger ones were injured. Yemo was very shocked, for stack wave kill was extremely consuming on immortal essence and spirit sense, and even such terrifying attack couldn't kill all of them. These star beasts were too powerful. A roar sounded from the distance. Yemo knew he had to quickly run. If he didn't, he wouldn't be able to use 4-stack wave kill nonstop. If there were 50-meter tall star beasts, 4-stack wave kill wouldn't be able to injure them anyways. Yemo took the star beast he killed with lightning spear into the Golden Page world and dashed into the ground in Golden Page world. Yemo then threw the star beast to Shadowless. Shadowless ate it in a gulp. Although this thing tasted bad, Shadowless knew it benefited him so much. A day later, Yemo took Shadowless out of the Golden Page world again. The surrounding was filled with star beasts. Yemo didn't use 4-stack wave kill again. Yemo just released Zissou and started fighting them. Meanwhile, Zissou kept devouring them. At first, Shadowless could only eat 5-meter tall ones, but later on, he even dared to eat anything below 30 meters. If he was having trouble digesting, Shadowless would go into the Golden Page world immediately and come back out once he was done. Yemo was amidst the star beast crowd slaughter. He slowly understood that not only was immortal essence and spirit sense needed to kill them, but also a power law. This power law was very hard to control, but as long as you captured one sliver of it, you can even kill 30-meter tall star beasts with one strike not using any god art. But if the star beast was taller than 30 meters, it surpassed this ordinary power law. As Yemo fought, those terrifying fists kept striking him. Even with his immortal spirit body tertiary stage power, his skin and flesh cracked. Yemo could only keep using body refinement cultivation method at the same time. Shadowless kept going in and out of the Golden Page world while devouring Star Beast. In this endless slaughter, they would immortal city run to another place if a Star Beast taller than 30 came. Yemo wanted to learn the power law through killing while Shadowless just wanted to break through. Plus, there was no other way out in here other than killing Star Beasts. The place Star Beasts lived at was boundless. Yemo and Shadowless fought for a few months and flew for a few months. Eventually, Yemo just kept killing Star Beasts while cultivating his god art and refining his immortal essence and spirit sense. The place Star Beasts lived at was boundless. Yemo and Shadowless fought for a few months and flew for a few months. Eventually, Yemo just kept killing Star Beasts while cultivating his god art and refining his immortal essence and spirit sense. As for cultivation level, Yemo didn't plan to cultivate it. The main problem was that he didn't have enough cultivation resources. In this place, there was only Star Beasts. There would occasionally be some high-level forgery material, but no immortal range and immortal spirit herb. Yemo's main cultivation resources were from Changtian Immortal Monarch. Yemo got a top-grade immortal range and 2 middle-grade immortal ranges from there. There was also 1 billion immortal crystals. This really wasn't many immortal crystals for an immortal monarch, but he had large amounts of immortal spirit herb and forgery materials. These things were more important than immortal crystals for Yemo. A year later, Shadowless's power was rising steadily after devouring large amounts of Star Beasts, but Yemo's power didn't change at all. However, his immortal essence and spirit sense were more refined. Even a Star Beast that was taller than 30 meters would be affected by his world rock. 2 years later, Shadowless was near Heaven Tao Peak and Yemo's Tang Mingrao could injure a Star Beast taller than 30 This endless slaughter and running would drive someone mad. But luckily, Yemo would go sit under the bitter bamboo every once in a while to meditate and digest what he learned before he went out to slaughter again. At the 5th year, Shadowless was Heaven Tao Peak stage, just one step away from Immortal Tao. Meanwhile, Yemo mastered all his god arts and reached Immortal King middle stage. However, the 3 immortal ranges were gone. When Yemo first came here, a 50 tall Star Beast could slap Yemo away easily, and the World Rock couldn't do anything against them. But now after 5 years, Yemo no longer feared the 50 tall Star Beasts. Those below 30m couldn't even last one round in Yimo's hands. Even 50m tall star beasts were often killed by Yimo. His god art, whether it was void, crevice, Tang Ming Rao, or lightning sand, were all many times stronger. Another reason Yimo killed them so easily now was because only striking the lethal spot of the star beast would kill them in one move. Each star beast had different lethal spots. Shadowless could devour star beasts that were below 50 meters now. The only one who didn't improve was Small Ginseng, but his main ability wasn't in fighting. Yimo estimated now that even if he faced Immortal Monarch middle stage, he wouldn't lose. Immortal Monarch middle stage wasn't necessarily as strong as Star Beast, but the only concern was that they not only had immortal essence, but also spirit sense and god art. If there was a 100m tall Star Beast, then Yimo would have to run. There were many of these. He had only seen them 6 times in these 5 years. Due to Yimo and Shadowless's crazy carnage in this area, the Star Beast recognized the two, and if they came over, pretty much no Star Beasts wanted to fight them. Yimo and Shadowless were tired of killing too, so as long as they didn't come, they would just go their own way. These Star Beasts weren't completely dumb too. Seeing that if they didn't attack Yimo and Shadowless, they wouldn't get attacked, they knew to move away when Yimo and Shadowless came. The subtle rule that came to be was when Yimo and Shadowless came, the Star Beasts would move aside. When they left, they would go back. If there was a 100m tall Star Beast, Yimo and Shadowless would move away. What disappointed Yimo was that after searching for this long, he still didn't find a way out. There was no space fissure nor space whirlpool. He didn't have the power to tear this space open. Su Jingwen stood at the Immortal Ascension Palace, feeling the dense immortal spirit chi. She was shaking with excitement. She really wanted to ascend with Susu and them, but she really couldn't wait. She was thinking about Yimo every moment. She cultivated so hard just so she could come to see Yimo earlier. Now that she finally ascended, she just wanted to find Yimo quickly and go into his arms. Yuan Heaven, Shihao Immortal City, Immortal Ascension Palace. The words made Su Jingwen realize she came to a low heaven domain in the immortal realm. Su Jingwen had been in the cultivation realm for a while, but she did come from Earth and didn't know the hardship and cruelty of the immortal realm. When she just got to Luoyu continent, she lived a hard life and almost died, but after seeing Yimo and going to Moyu City, her power rose drastically. With Yimo's authority on Luoyu continent and Moyu City's status on Luoyu continent, Su Jingwen could do whatever she wanted there. But she didn't like to show off. However, if she said something, not even South Peace State, but no one in the entire Luoyu continent would dare to rebuke. Su Jingwen thought that as long as she could find teleportation formation, she would be able to make it to Gonghua Heaven. Walking out of the Immortal Ascension Palace, Su Jingwen immediately felt extremely powerful spirit senses and immediately felt lacking confidence. She realized this was no longer Luoyu continent and Moyu City, but a strange immortal realm. Feeling those powerful and contemptuous spirit sense, Su Jingwen shivered and suppressed her excitement. She quickly looked down. She suddenly felt that the immortal realm in her mind was completely different to the real one. Which cultivation realm did you come up from? A loud voice interrupted Su Jingwen, and Su Jingwen saw a middle-aged immortal stop her path. His hair wasn't long, but his power was much higher. Su Jingwen didn't know what power this person was, but she could tell it was many levels higher than her. Remembering Yimo telling her not to expose where she came from and just to meet up in Gonghua Heaven, Su Jingwen hesitated for a moment and said, "I came from Shunxiong continent." Hearing this, the man shook his head and lost interest. Shunxiong continent? Great. Our Sankai Jade immortal sect's found father came from there. Welcome. A fat immortal heard this and his eyes turned into a fine line with his smile. There were many immortals here at the Immortal Ascension Palace coming from big sects. They were here to fight the most excellent sect members for their sect. Most of the solo cultivators in the immortal realm were disqualified from rounds and rounds of selection. So, in order to get good disciples, one had to search among the newly ascended cultivators. Usually, unless you were extremely extraordinary, people wouldn't even be bothered fighting over you. This fat immortal saw Su Jingwen was quite pretty and from Shunxiong continent. That's why he was a little interested. Sorry, I want to ask where the teleportation formation to Gonghua Heaven is. I just want to go Gonghua Heaven. I don't want to join a sect yet. Su Jingwen quickly said. As soon as Su Jingwen said this, the nearby immortals laughed. A newly ascended truth realization state cultivator wanted to take the teleportation formation before even leaving the immortal ascension palace. This was too funny. Su Jingwen looked at the talent testing magic artifact but didn't reach her hand out to test it. She knew her talent. In the entire Luoyu continent, there was probably no one better than her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be the first to ascend to the immortal realm in such a short time. Su Jingwen looked at the talent testing magic artifact but didn't reach her hand out to test it. She knew her talent. In the entire Luoyu continent, there was probably no one better than her. Otherwise, she wouldn't be the first to ascend to the immortal realm in such a short time. These people came to test talent clearly for taking insect members. If they found her talent was very good, they definitely wouldn't let her go easily. Place your hands into the testing immortal artifact. It can test your talent and age to determine your talent. The fat cultivator smiled at Su Jingwen. Sorry, I don't want to join these sections. My husband is in Gonghua Heaven. I just want to go to Gonghua Heaven to find my husband. Su Jingwen clenched her teeth and said. Before the fat immortal said anything, someone on the side laughed, looking for a Dao partner? There's people everywhere. Why run to Gonghua Heaven? Su Jingwen glared at that person furiously. Seeing this, the person said, I said it. So what? Are you going to kill me? I want to see how a newly ascended hollow immortal is going to kill a golden immortal. Haha. Su Jingwen turned to leave. She knew she couldn't beat anyone here. Plus, she knew this place forbids fighting. Haha. That immortal laughed again. You shouldn't go look for your husband. An insect like him is probably long dead. There's one right here. The fat immortal's face sunk. Su Jingwen dared to go without testing. Before he reproached Su Jingwen released her dual moon ice blades. How dare this person curse that Yimo was dead? The two ice blades carried a white ray of ice shooting at the immortal who laughed. Seeing this, everyone shook their heads. The rule here was the strong immortals must not attack the newly ascended cultivators. If a low-level cultivator dared to attack an immortal here, those with high power didn't need to hold back. He could deal with the attacker however he liked. Su Jingwen was tricked into attacking. This meant that this person could do whatever he wanted to Su Jingwen. Crack crack. The golden immortal just casually released his magic artifact and Su Jingwen's dual moon ice blades were broken. Seeing this, Su Jingwen was very anxious. Yimo gave her these blades. It had more meaning than the magic artifact itself. Just when Su Jingwen wanted to go up and take it back, she heard a sound transmission. You're a newly ascended cultivator. Hurry up and run. Offending immortals here is asking for death. Hearing this, Su Jingwen suddenly realized. This place wasn't the cultivation realm anymore, but the immortal realm. She had no right to talk. She could only find Yimo first. Thinking about this, Su Jingwen forcefully turned and flew towards outside. This golden immortal was waiting for Su Jingwen to come up and take her magic artifact and then attack her. This way, it would seem as though Su Jingwen started all this. However, Su Jingwen suddenly changed directions and flew out of the immortal ascension palace. The golden immortal dazed and chased out. The fat cultivator also chased out. Seeing this, the rest of the people of the immortal ascension palace all flew out. How could Su Jingwen not know she was in big trouble now? The immortal attacking her was already grabbing at her. At this moment, she saw a huge tablet outside. The tablet said, Imo you immortal sect welcome all immortal ascension cultivators from Luoyu continent. Su Jingwen charged over without hesitation and grabbed one corner of the tablet saying loudly, I'm a cultivator of Imo you immortal sect. The golden immortal saw this and stopped attacking but sneered, Imo you immortal sect only welcomes Luoyu continent cultivators. What do you have to do with this place? You dared to attack me at Immortal Ascension Palace. I must take you away. The first immortal to ask Su Jingwen looked at her and asked, Didn't you say you came from Xinxiong continent? How come you're from Luoyu continent now? Su Jingwen was lost for words. The immortal shook his head. He's certain that Su Jingwen just wanted to escape this golden immortal and said she came from Luoyu continent. Mou immortal sect was dominant, but they wouldn't intervene in such thing. Seeing the Mou immortal sect immortal shook his head, Su Jingwen was desperate. She knew that Mo probably set up this sect. She quickly said, "My husband is called Mo. Since you're from Mou immortal sect, you should know him." What confused Su Jingwen was that the immortal shook his head. "Sorry, I really don't know some Mo." Little people knew that Mo was the sect leader of Mou. Even Lu Feng only knew later. Haha, keep making up stories. The golden immortal laughed. Your brother Ye's Dao partner? A joyful voice interrupted the golden immortal's words. Su Jingwen immediately said, "Yes, Qian Bei. Wan Bei's Dao partner is really Mo. He told me to go wait for him at Gonghua Heaven." "What proof do you have?" Another voice sounded. A square-faced man landed in front of everyone. No one could tell the power of this person. Qian Bei. This woman just ascended and dared to attack immortals in the Immortal Ascension Palace. What she said was full of lies. This golden immortal quickly said, "Piss off." The man yelled at the golden immortal. Su Jingwen immediately took out a crystal card and said, "Qian Bei, this is my husband's image." The man didn't even take it and just scanned with his spirit sense before laughing. "It's real indeed. You can put it away. Brother Yi, I've finally helped you a bit." The square-faced man said to Su Jingwen, Hui, you can call me by my name. I'm friends with Mo. He's always been helping me. I came to join him this time, but I didn't expect to be able to help him. This is great." Out of the friends Mo knew, Hui was the most mysterious one, but he was a worthy friend. Hui reached Immortal King this time, and he came to Low Heaven Domain not to join Mo, but to repay his gratitude. Since Mo was opening a sect here, he would come to cheer and support Mo. "Yes, brotherine," Su Jingwen called out in joy. Of course she wouldn't call him Hui directly. She couldn't imagine the cultivation level of this Hui. "It was this insect who dared to attack you?" Hui pointed at the golden immortal and asked. Su Jingwen nodded, but before she said anything, the golden immortal said shakily, "Qian Bei, Wan Bei, how dare you lie to a king? Die." Hui let out a sword chi, and the golden immortal was dead. Slaughter was forbidden in front of the Immortal Ascension Palace, but an immortal king was going to kill a golden immortal here. No one dared to say a thing. The fat immortal still wanted to bring out his sect, but hearing the word king, he didn't dare to say anything else and scurried away. Su Jingwen immediately went up to get the dual moon ice blades. So what if you're an immortal king? An immortal king can kill people at RU1 Heaven Immortal Ascension Palace? A cold voice sounded. An extremely powerful pressure came. Even Hui couldn't help retreating a few steps under this powerful pressure. A green-robed old man appeared before everyone. Hui could tell this old man was at least an immortal king peak stage, or even halfway immortal monarch. Hui signaled Su Jingwen to stand behind him and saluted with his fists to this old man. "A golden immortal dared to attack my friend's Dao partner. So what if I kill him?" Hui signaled Su Jingwen to stand behind him and saluted with his fists to this old man. "A golden immortal dared to attack my friend's Dao partner. So what if I kill him?" He couldn't beat an immortal king peak stage, but he wasn't scared. He had seen quite many immortal emperors already. A newly ascended cultivator? Seeing that Hui wasn't scared of him, the green-robed old man acted a little more careful. "Yes, Qian Bei, Wan Bei is a newly ascended cultivator. That person was going to attack me, so Brotherine intervened." Su Jingwen quickly said. "What happened? Someone tell me." If it was some ordinary person, the green-robed old man would have used force. Hui was not only an immortal king but wasn't scared of him at all. Who dared to speak about Mou immortal sect things? That immortal from Mou quickly went up and bowed. "Qian Bei, she's a newly ascended cultivator from Luoyu continent. The golden immortal whom Qian Bei killed lusted after her beauty and wanted to take away her by force. Qian Bei knows the elder of Mou immortal sect, so he attacked in anger." This immortal from Mou truly believed Su Jingwen was from Luoyu continent now. She lied probably just to be careful. He almost made a mistake. Although some people knew that this immortal didn't speak the complete truth, no one wanted to say something extra now. Some people had recognized this green-robed old man to be Heaven Lord Alliance Vice Alliance leader Lu Yong. 10 years ago when Yimo disappeared with Chang Tian Immortal Monarch and Lu Jingchuan, he knew that Chang Tian Immortal Monarch was quite possibly dead. As for whether Immortal King Luo was dead, he still wasn't sure. Regardless, before he reached Immortal Monarch, he wouldn't go look for their trouble. Hearing that this involved MOU Immortal Sect, he didn't want to intervene anymore. Offending MOU for a mere golden immortal, he wouldn't do this unless he was brain damaged. Lu Yong sneered to everyone, if anyone dares to attack newly ascended cultivators, death. Then Lu Yong looked coldly at Yin Hui. One who attacks a newly ascended cultivator deserves to die indeed, but it's not the job of a foreign immortal king. If you dare to kill at the Immortal Ascension Palace, then don't blame the Heaven Lord Alliance. Lu Yong finished, and his force rose drastically. The nearby immortals retreated. In fact, Lu Yong didn't want to fight Yin Hui at all, but he was in a tough situation. He was too free and came here for a spin. He wanted to assert dominance to relieve some annoyance he had, but now he met a tough one. A few immortal city and sects in the low heaven domains had all been devoured for no reason. As the Vice Alliance leader, he clearly had to investigate this. Yin Hui could tell that Lu Yong only wanted a way down. Just when he wanted to say some nice words, a terrifying scream sounded. The next moment, 9 huge, disgusting heads appeared in the sky. Sticky mucus that was thicker than buckets dripped down from the head. 9-headed void devouring bug? There were too many knowledgeable people in the immortal realm. Almost everyone recognized it immediately. Countless immortals immediately released their magic artifact to run. The 9-headed void devouring bug was a ferocious bug fed with souls. Its mouth could devour space. Its saliva could corrode all things. When the 9 souls fused together, it would be invincible in the cultivation realm. When the 9-headed void devouring bug came to the immortal realm and devoured large amounts of immortal essence living beings, it would grow out crests. Once there was crests, it can even devour immortal kings. There are 5 colors to the crests: red, green, blue, purple, gold. The red crest is the most ordinary king bug. Ordinary immortal kings are no match for it at all. When the crest reaches green and blue, even immortal monarch would have to flee. Purple-crested 9-headed void devouring bugs aren't even scared of immortal emperors. Usually, golden-crested 9-headed void devouring bug never appears. This 9-headed void devouring bug's crest was pale green. Seeing this 9-headed void devouring bug, Lu Yong immediately realized. Those immortal city and sects were all annihilated by this 9-headed void devouring bug. If it was something else, he would be willing to fight it, but against this level of 9-headed void devouring bug, even he can't do anything. Plus, he didn't know if the 9-headed void devouring bug had a master. Seeing this, Lu Yong disappeared in a dashing light without hesitation. Lu Yong was the strongest here. Of course, the 9-headed void devouring bug wouldn't let him go. Its other heads sucked casually in the immortal city and then chased out in a black figure. The instant he saw the 9-headed void devouring bug, Yin Hui knew it was over. Against such level 9-headed void devouring bug, there was no way out except death. He was ready to deal a heavy blow to the 9-headed void devouring bug before he died, but instead the 9-headed void devouring bug chased after that green-robed immortal king. Even with its casual suck, 60% of the immortals on the ground had disappeared. Those who could survive were mostly great immortals. Yin Hui knew that after the 9-headed void devouring bug killed Lu Yong, it would come back to this city and devour everyone. Yin Hui took out a rune, and the instantly enveloped Su Jingwen. He patted out a rune too. 2 dashing lights flashed, and the 2 disappeared from the city. Countless immortals took out the transmission runes and left. Lu Yong flew like crazy, but this 9-headed void devouring bug was faster than him. Seeing that he couldn't get away, Lu Yong stopped and turned around, releasing a yellow lamp. Lu Yong activated a few hundred yellow flames. When they first appeared, They were only the size of a thumb, but when they neared the nine-headed void-devouring bug, they were arm-sized and growing. Then, a few hundred more yellow lights were born. The nine-headed void-devouring bug didn't expect Lu Yong had such power. It was swept by a few yellow lights, and a few bloody holes appeared on its head. The nine-headed void-devouring bug was infuriated and roared, shotting out countless black mist water lines. The yellow lights were immediately dimmed, and Lu Yong's immortal king domain was crippled by this. Lu Yong felt his immortal essence stop and realized he was completely controlled by the nine-headed void-devouring bug. This nine-headed void-devouring bug was much stronger than he expected. Lu Yong didn't dare to keep fighting. He burned immortal essence and used a mobility technique. As soon as he left, the huge, ugly head bit down. There was still some distance between the two, but when the nine-headed void-devouring bug bit down, Lu Yong and the space between them disappeared. Space devour. These were the last words of Lu Yong. The nine-headed void-devouring bug didn't stop at all and went back to Shihao Immortal City. Those immortals who didn't get away were all devoured. In a short time, the popular Shihao Immortal City was like a ghost city. At the Immortal Ascension Palace of another city, Yin Hui said desperately to an abstruse immortal, "Take Su Jingguan to Imo Immortal Sect immediately and tell the few immortal kings that nine-headed void-devouring bug has appeared. I have some emergency I need to leave." This abstruse immortal was the cultivator waiting at this Immortal Ascension Palace for Luo Yu continent cultivators. Yin Hui was desperate. He had to bring this news to the Grand Heaven Domain. Luckily, he knew there was a teleportation formation to Middle Heaven Domain, and it was in Extreme Wind Heaven. Usually, this teleportation formation wouldn't be opened unless it was a significant event. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.